Shane Crawford looks like he'll have Simon Garlick as his opponent for most of the night. They'll be on Adrian Cox, two players who are unheralded who have been in good form.
Chris Grant runs from the pack to try and draw somebody with him and takes Shane Crawford away from the action. Wren, in the meantime, slung to the ground by Darcy, will have another bounce.
Only a minute and a half in, and Wren's actually started pretty well. Interesting one here. Hargraves has gone with Barlow. There's Crawford and Dimmer. Hargraves was fantastic last week, the run he gave the Dogs off the half-back flank.
Crawford had the tips cut out of his hair. Beautiful tap from Wren to Vandenberg. He just has to steady now and kick the goal. And he does. First blood to the Hawks. Great running goal by Vandenberg, who just steadied enough, kept his head over the ball and put it through the middle.
And look, it was just a classic setup. You mentioned Sean Wren started well, Doom. I'll tell you what, he can take 3 of the points that we just got there from Richie Vandenberg. Vandenberg's been in terrific form. Look at all the space for Hawthorn on his goal side. And a big whack from Sean Wren allows Vandenberg to run onto it. His form has been outstanding, and he's become a goal kicker. He probably wasn't the most polished of skills early in the piece, but, gee, his finishing's improved.
Richie Vandenberg with the opening goal. Play restarts. Darcy got it on the way down. Well, almost. Wren again. Vandenberg again, inside the centre square, probing kick, a long one to Barlow, had it fisted away by Hargrave. Crawford in front, aided by a good Shepherd, found some space, again goes to that same pocket. Thompson up, didn't touch it, runs free at the back and goes out of bounds in the right full forward pocket.
Simply overcooked that one, Shane Crawford. Thompson got the drop on Croft, and that's not an easy feat to do. Croft, a very experienced backman, and knows where it's going on most occasions.
Boundary throw in, City side. Holland. Grant works in front, Holland over the top, slapped it wide. Oh, great hands. Wests away, around the outer side. Got it from Brown. Penetrating kick towards half forward. Bounces obligingly for Darcy. Darcy goes inside the attacking 50. Johnson couldn't hang on. Brown knocks it towards the boundary line and gets it out.
Derm, have you got any inside mail for us about Hawthorn players' reaction to Peter Schwab talking to Wayne Carey during the week?
No, not really. I only saw it later in the day yesterday, but I'll tell you what, I'll find out for you as the evening progresses.
OK, no worries at all, Derm.
Keep your arms clear.
There you go, umpire telling the two ruckmen, go at the ball. It'll be Wren versus Darcy. First time inside the forward 50 for the Bulldogs. Hawthorn have got the first goal. Johnson across the pack. Was a good kick to the goal square. Danger here. Harrison can crash through. Can he get the kick? He does, but it's across the face of goal. It's still in play. Near the pocket. Robbins over the line and out of bounds. Will have a throw in. Tony Jones, boundary side.
One of these situations tonight, unfortunately, Eddie, where the top deck at Colonial Stadium is absolutely chock-a-block, but the bottom two just a little on the sparse side, unfortunately.
So throw in. Take 2.
Don't push, Stars!
Wren versus Darcy here. Don't push. Bandy comes across the front. Tries to get the kick out of the pack. Good play by Johnson to lock up his Hawthorn opponent. Will have a bounce.
Peter Schwab's also paid Robert Murphy a fair bit of respect. Daniel Chick has been the player allocated to him, and I think that's a fair feather in the cap of the youngster.
Brown was the last man up for the Hawks. Ball up. Everybody lets it go. The umpire got a bit in the way. No one wanted to touch the umpire. Garlick is grabbed by Crawford. We'll have another bounce. Dennis, see if you can get some action.
Nobody moved at that last bounce, did they?
I think the umpire actually shepherded for himself.
Here we go again. Darcy, hands to it that time, found it on the ground, shrugs the tackle, comes back towards the middle. Wonderful kick. And this young man likes to run up the ground, Hargrave. We've seen this in recent weeks. The back pocket player kicking at goal. A chance here to tie the scores.
Wasn't a great vision by big Luke Darcy there. If he's got an advantage over Wren, it's his mobility there. And Hargraves, as I called before, loves coming off the half-back flank. He's been one of the reasons they played well last month.
Ryan Hargrave pulls it too far left. Behind, Hawthorn lead by 5 points.
3 goals, 7 for the year.
He's playing on Chris Barlow, so Barlow would need to be aware of that. The other big job is Campbell Brown's got the job on Brad Johnson. I'll tell you what, that's a fair ask for a youngster.
Yeah.
Crawford hunks the boundary line. Graham to Cox. Kimball uses the ball very well, Simon Cox, against his old club up towards the wing. Wren lays it off. They've got some run. Reeves to Dixon. Dixon slipped. Goes to Vandenberg in trouble. line passes to half forward. Brown, quick hands, cross. Did nicely. This is Smith. Finds some space. The umpire's down. Hunter's got it. Forward to right centre wing. Can go to the pocket. Hasn't got the carry. Brilliantly done by Tallis. Needed a bit more on that kick, though.
That is great defending, Dennis. Sorry to jump in there, but eyes on the footy all the way, Raiden Tallis, and it's allowed him to flick the ball over the top. It was terrific defensive work.
Yep, like a soccer goal. He just tipped it over the bar on that occasion. Throw in right forward pocket for the Bulldogs, who have got 1 point on the board to Hawthorn's 6. Wren again. Kicks to the centre of the ground. Smith being held. Rowan Smith. Right in the centre of Colonial Stadium. Gets a lead from Darcy, ignores it. Decides to go long, looking for Hunter on the lead and hits him lace out.
Well, they've had to rework their defence, the Hawks, because Chris Grant, who Jonathan Hay picked up initially, has gone to centre half back to play on Nick Holland. So Grant now finds himself with Kingsley Hunter, who Mark Graham had initially. So it's been a little bit of rotating done in the first 5 or 10 minutes as they sort themselves out.
Played a lot of the year in defence, Kingsley Hunter. Has kicked 3 goals, 3 for the season. 113 career goals. His probability, as you can see, 34%. From 55, he gives it a good hoof. In fact, it's a great kick. Looked like it was drifting for a moment. Right through the middle it went. And the Bulldogs hit the front by a point.
He's incredibly quick, Kingsley Hunter, and it was a straight line lead. Jonathan Hayes looking for the centre of the ground, and he just took him away. And Hay is remarkably quick himself, and he covered no ground there on him. He closed no gap on him on the lead there. Strong lead, went out pretty wide, but if you can kick like that, doesn't matter where you mark them, guys.
Jade Rawlings has got the job on Daniel Bandy. Bandy, a super fit athlete. Rawlings had some knee problems, so as the game wears on, it might be a little problem.
Kingsley Hunter can kick a goal. I remember he got 7 at Victoria Park against the Magpies a few years back, playing for the Dockers. Out of the middle comes Darcy. Quick hands away. Brown missed it. Dimartino well done against the flow. Hooks it down towards the pocket. Mark taken by Brown. Very good last week.
Good post to get to that one then. Ran off his opponent and made the ball. There's a short on right in front.
He honours that lead. Breeze has got it. Goes back close to the boundary line. Rawlings. Bulldogs by a point. Early going. Friday night football from Colonial. This is Graham. As the Hawks bounce it around. Hay. Left half back. The next link in the chain is the problem. Pops it into space and running hard. Hodge comes across, takes the mark, plays on. Usually a very good kick. This is no exception to Johnson. Johnson forward of left centre wing. Rees is running to a hole. Can't hang on. Loose ball. Chance for the Dogs. Getting through there was West. Straddling him was Smith. Chance now. Close to the boundary line. It spills across. It'll be tossed in. That was Albie as we go down to Tony Jones.
Well, Paul Dimartino has certainly been in the thick of it early, and he comes into this game with plenty of form. 35 touches for Werribee last week and 6 goals.
Throw in. 50 metres out. Oh, in the back, surely. Yes, it is. And it'll go the way of Nick Holland for Hawthorn. Grant got right into him.
He is a big outside 50 kick hit, but he's looking to dish off. That's play on.
Did pretty well there. Holland, he had
this kick can kick it.
Grant by the arm. Beautiful kick. Hodge, he kicks right to the teeth of goals. It's touched off the line. And Hodge had a couple of kicks coming off a bad Saturday night last week where he got a wheel lock belted over his head.
He did. Luke Darcy's taken Sean Wren to centre half forward, and I think that's a matchup that the Bulldogs enjoy, to play Darcy at centre half forward against Wren centre half back. That is why Grant went in the ruck against Nick Holland on that occasion.
The night on the town, ended up seeing his girlfriend in hospital and a wheel lock being bounced off his head from some thugs in the city. So Luke Hodges recovered quite well.
Vandenberg over the footy, couldn't control it. Cross, Chick, close to the boundary line, played it pretty well, but coughs it up. All Bulldogs at the drop. Hargrave across the ground. Harrison. John Siracusa moves for him. It goes in that direction. Now he's got a chance. Wonderful ball control. John Siracusa runs to the 50. Tries to be a little too cute. Pulls it back to Bandy. Controlled it well. Interesting hand pass. Tallis. Crawford somehow got through. Peels away from half back. Sends play towards the wing and Thompson. Thompson. It's spots Graham. Will go longer, I think, to Holland. Grant drops back, works in front. Holland almost the mark, though. Knocked away by Smith. Plenty of time. Swings it to Crediot. Johnson is running for him. It'll go in that direction. Terrible kick. Well, not bad as it turns out. He was able to go back and get it. Here comes Garlick on a lead. No space, though. It bounces out of bounds.
This tempo is red hot at the moment. What you've got here is the Bulldogs midfield. We know it is fantastic. And Hawthorn, especially Crawford and Vandenberg, are speed merchants. And it is just going sprint for sprint, one way or the other.
Throw in on centre wing. Scores level with 11 3/4 minutes left on the clock. Here's West for the Bulldogs. His kick was a bit overcooked on that occasion where it sits nicely for Darcy. He ran into his old teammate in Cox. Hearted the ball, Darcy again. Geez, playing with confidence, no doubt about it, as Gian Siracusa picks up the spoils of Darcy's hard work. The ball spills out wide to Harris, and a long raking kick is a goal. The Bulldogs second, they lead by that amount.
Yeah, well, it's another defender who's been able to get forward, and that's what's happening. Is each time the Hawks go in at the moment, they are being outnumbered across half forward. There's some good second, third efforts there from Luke Darcy. And the ball just spills out. Probably had to work harder, the Hawks, to keep it in and end up being an uncontested shot at goal.
Yeah, Jonathan Hay coughed it out towards 3 Bulldogs and not one Hawk there. He just needed to have an awareness of his teammates about him.
Good running goal, 2-1, plays 1-1. Darcy up prematurely. Nicely done by Chick. A kick from Rees to half forward. Big fist from Grant at the back. Camped in front. Chick once more. Getting a bit of it. Good kick too. Thompson couldn't hang on. Dixon trying to shrug a tackle. Spills out of there. Crawford, did he have the footy? Murphy a hand pass. Grant gets it away. Smith swings it out wide. And Johnson can run. Brad Johnson, the second bounce. Just checking the scenery. Goes in short now. Darcy, he's about 60 metres out. They're pretty slick on the move, the Bulldogs. Darcy, long down towards full forward. Brown is drifting back. Hands to it, couldn't hang on. Crashing through down there, Dimatina. Socket away by Hodge. Here's a chance for Hunter. Picks it up, lays it off. Albee accelerates away, feeds it back towards the middle. Loose ball. Hunter put the body in, cleared a path. Johnson, a slick hand pass. Chopped off though by Cox. Well worked. The danger is past. Well, maybe not. Collins' kick charged down. Spills across to Cox.
Darcy just can't get out of the action at the moment, but Cox did well, held it up, and the kick goes into the middle of the ground, and Barlow has it. He plays on now, transfers play. Back to Hay with the blue boots. Runs to centre wing, has a bounce. Now to half forward with a second bounce. He's 55 out. He kicks to the square. It's 2-on-1. Chick at the front, getting back. With plenty of poise was the skipper and Grant.
So that was good work by Simon Cox on the wing under pressure, just to hold it up and wait for a man to present.
Here's Murphy. They're running again. Murphy, little chip inside the centre square. Perfectly weighted kick, got it to Bandy. Alongside the centre circle.
We got Darcy and Wren on the last line, which suits the Bulldogs again.
Got a space for him.
Comes on a lead. It goes in that direction. Reading it perfectly, Hodge. Got across, chopped it off. Crawford to Holland. Now, where will he go?
Got to wait for Barlow to split the middle here. Hasn't seen him.
It's the big problem. They've got no real presence. If Holland pushes up onto the wing, they've got no real marking presence across half forward. Chris Grant just slotted himself in there loose.
Hodge towards half forward. Adrian Cox couldn't hang on. Succeeds in knocking it out of bounds. There's the time remaining, under 9 minutes till quarter time, and the Bulldogs lead it by 6 points.
Terry Wallace prepared to gamble. He backs Chris Grant in as a more effective loose man than his opponent. At the moment, that's Jonathan Hay, who just had a terrific run forward, but Terry Wallace is prepared to gamble that.
Just under 9 minutes to go in the opening term. Bulldogs buy a goal. They try to get it out. West off the ground. Gets crunched and fights on again. We'll have another bounce. Interesting crowd here tonight, fellas. It's not a bad crowd. You wouldn't think so at home, maybe, because the bottom deck here is generally the reserve seating. The middle deck, as we know, corporates and medallion seats. But the top deck are the walk-up crowd, and it's very hard to find a spot there. Yep, absolutely. Wren thumps it forward, but Grant's there for the Bulldogs. Nice handball out to Gian Siracusa, the go-to man whose skills are usually pretty good. That one was a bit lucky. Came off to Elvie. Elvie around the body, the same type of thing. Didn't come off on that occasion. Take two. Harrison, a good kick. This time he puts it out in front of Garlick. Needs a good bounce and he gets it right on the boundary line. He just waits, stops and props, goes back to Elvie at half-forward flank. Fourth possession coming up. Umpire calls him. Elvie just holds the ball. Now he wants to do a 1-2 with Harrison. It goes back to him. They're mucking around. 1-2, 1-2. Harrison now wider still. DiMartino. Too far out to score. Runs off the mark, puts it high in the air. It's Darcy versus Hay. Hay gets the spot. And that's the type of mark that made him the All-Australian fullback last year.
It's a sign of confidence, that's for sure. He's starting to come back into some form.
Holland. It stays in. Touched off the boot. Crediuk gathers it outside the 50. Runs inside the 50. Can he celebrate his 150th? No. Off target behind. It increases the lead. Not a good kick really coming out from Hay. Needed to be precise. Had Holland marked it, things would have been different.
I'll put the pen away, Doom. I can tell you, because Terry Wallace will not let his players get too settled in one spot for too long. Grant will go to half-back and free up Harrison and allow him to run. Whoever gets Sean Wren goes forward to try and isolate him in their forward line. And either Bandy or Darcy, the other player, will go into the middle of the ground.
Odd short to Rawlings. Left back pocket. Low scoring affair. Hawthorn the first goal. The Bulldogs the last two.
This is where the Doggies have just got to go man on man, because Hawthorn do like to possess the ball up to the wing until they can get a quick break towards their forwards.
Smith did well, got a fist and knocked it down in front. Crediuk taken front on. Slum got a hand pass towards the 50. Hodge under pressure, did pretty well. Scrambles a kick out. Clever mark. That ball was awkward to mark. Harrison breaks away, got the last goal, comes to the middle. John Siracusa in space, can go short, does. Play on's the call. Garlick turns around and kicks, and Garlick asks the question, why was that play on? Was it touched off the boot?
I think it was, yeah.
Had to be.
Had to be. It went 25 metres otherwise.
Yes.
Not unlike a world title fight with Anthony the Man Mundine in the audience tonight, as they're just feeling themselves out at the moment, Dermot.
Yeah, but it's all about midfields at the moment, Ed. And the Doggies, they're going for matchups up forward. They're pushing whoever's on Wren, as Gary's called, forward and trying to expose Wren on a quick lead. And they're just sprinting the ball forward.
And away they go. Cox, Dixon, Reeves, Thompson, no, over his head. The last kick needed to be the best kick, and it wasn't. Over the line and out of bounds, so a throw in the right forward pocket.
You had Mark Graham running too then.
Let's have a look if this was touched. Gian Siracusa. Well, there you go. I know, well, that was play on.
So when Crofty took the ball over the line there, it looked like it bounced back into play, and he deliberately brought it back in. He's got to be a little bit careful.
Only the shadow knows. This is Harrison. Throws it on the boot. It spills out of bounds.
We got the umpire's mic, of course, and nothing was said from an umpire's point of view, so he's just said that's not travelled the required distance.
Just got a bit confused.
Confused. The operative word.
The Hawks have gone to Nathan Thompson 3 times on the kick inside 50, and 3 times they've actually distributed to him pretty poorly.
Tossed in. Bandy reaches over the top. Barlow didn't appear to have the football. Cox gets a hand pass out. Crawford trying to go off the ground. Pretty scrappy in there. He needed moose antlers. Taken high was Vandenberg. That's got to be a free kick. He's got it. He is a bullocker, as they say. Head down, whatever up. And he goes across to Graham, who's marked 40 metres out. Mark Graham hasn't kicked a goal this season.
I think he's pushed forward because the free player is doing so much damage from a Western Bulldog point of view, in particular Ben Harrison, who's really caused Hawthorn enormous pain. Terry Wallace has done it beautifully. They're not exactly sure who the free player is a lot of the time, the Hawks.
Important kick, this one. Mark Graham. Distance won't be a problem. Neither is accuracy. Back come the Hawks.
This game is just going to be a war of attrition between the midfields. Hawthorn's forward structure is not as cohesive, or doesn't have as many tricks as the Western Bulldogs at the moment, but Thompson's been out on the lead and looks sharp. They just have missed him by foot, and he is in line to kick probably 4 or more. If they start hitting with targets, the Doggies can kick goals. It's just a war of attrition in the middle. Both teams are running really hard.
So Graham gets his first goal of the season, and the Hawks get within 2 points. Vandenberg, who has kicked one and set the other one up, who's playing great football for the Hawks tonight. He gets it out of the centre with his 4th possession, but eventually it's cut off by Smith for the Bulldogs. He brings it out to centre wing. Here's the midfield that Dermot was talking about. Here's a chance now as the ball is kicked forward by Cross to Darcy. Cox now for Hawthorn, close to the boundary line. He'll want the boundary line. No, he keeps it in to Adrian Cox. That noise was Simon Cox hitting the effects microphone on the boundary line. Cross over his shoulder. Adrian Cox for the Hawks kicks it to the middle of the ground. Oh, big 50-50 ball. And Steve Prediuk took the pack, took the ball and knocked it 30 metres forward. Here's a chance now for Brett Johnson. The Hawks keep running. It spills to Tallis. Tallis long up towards the forward 50. Chick will have to beat 3. The ball and the bounce beat him altogether. Grant now out wide. Nathan Brown with the blonde locks. Beautiful kick along the boundary line. Finds Darcy. Now that isn't 15. Play on, you heard that one. Back to Darcy. Take 2. Slides off the side of the boot. They all watched it. Garlick got the handball going. West now to Albie. Albie with the sweeping handball. Liberatore goes for the Shepherd. In the back, was it the Hargrave? No, says the umpire. Now the ball spills. Tallis for the Hawks. Goes hard at it. Crawford with clean hands. And Hayes away for Hawthorn.
Jonathan Hay decides to take them on again. A couple of bounces. Now he passes backwards on the outer side. Eventually, though, things work out okay. Johnson drives it long. The hand pass came from Holland out there. Harrison chops it off again. Holland needs to come back. He won't get back quickly enough. Mark is taken by Garlick.
Just need to show more patience there, the Hawks, as they went forward. But Hawthorn are coming up to pressure the Bulldogs around the 50-metre on their attacking end, because, as you pointed out before the game, Gary, they score a lot of goals from there, so you'll see the Hawks come up and pressure them at that line.
Brown to Murphy. Now, Bandy and Darcy are both long and calling for the footy. Just don't know why they don't go long. Murphy's away. Goes across. Hunter just got there in the nick of time. 3 minutes till quarter time. Dogs by 2 points.
Darcy won out against Simon Cox in the goal square.
You'd like it, wouldn't you?
Pretty reasonable bet, I reckon, Dennis, although Hay now has got back. I mean, that's slow. That's a 2-on-1 now.
Darcy over the top. Bandy over the top.
Now he does it. In from the side. Darcy almost. Brown. Johnson put the body in. Green plays it towards the boundary line. And out it goes. Well, the first option became about the 12th option as we go down to TJ.
Thanks very much, Dennis. Yes, Libba's been on for a few minutes now. No prizes for guessing who he went straight to, and isn't straying too far away from the Hawthorn skipper either.
So Libba goes to Crawford. Throw in.
Space in front.
Bulldogs attacking zone. They open it right up. Have a look at this. Darcy goes to the back. To Garlick. To the goal umpire. It's a goal. Garlick gets his first.
Well, I've got to say that these big fellas are causing the Hawks some problems, because Wren can't run with either Bandy or Darcy for the whole of the evening. So what happened then is Simon Cox has been running with Luke Darcy for the last 5 minutes. And Simon Cox, he isn't a ruckman. He's a winger. And he plays a wing for good reasons, and he hasn't got the greatest body strength. And in a ruck situation in their forward line, it is almost suicidal to have him go against Darcy.
So the Bulldogs now by 8 points. Just under 2.5, with Barlow doing the ruck work now in the middle against Bandy. Crashing through his Rees to Green. Quick hands. Vandenberg around the body inside the forward 50. Croft comes out at the ball. Bad bounce for all concerned. Prediuk hard at it. Holland grabbed. Harrison takes him to the ground. Will have a bounce.
It's just about an admission of the problems they're having with the rucks. When you've got Barlow doing the centre bounce work, I think Holland was into the time behind before that. They're simply in the driver's seat at the moment because of their big men.
Grant versus Holland. Give that one to Holland. Bulldogs around the ball though. Prediuk again clears the ball out of the danger zone, but it'll come straight back. Rawlings on his chest.
Jump out, boys.
Jade Rawlings looks out wide. Chips the kick.
Push back now, the Doggies. There's only a couple of minutes left. A minute and a half, 90 seconds.
Nice kick forward. And the mark has been taken there by Brett Johnson. Will have to kick at 51 metres.
His range is about 49, I reckon, Gaz.
Well, it's taken all of 26 minutes for the penny to drop for the Hawks, that they can't just keep banging it in there when Chris Grant and Harrison are just sweeping across. They've got to spot up a player as they did on that occasion.
Take his best one here.
Had 25 disposals last week, Johnson. His only goal of the year. He's kicked 1-1 for the season. He still has 1-1, but the Hawks get an extra one for a rush behind. And it's back to 7 points of difference.
Doggies are quite brilliant on their kick-ins. For most of the year, they've been fantastic.
Smith brings it out. Needs a contest. Cox did very well. Hit the ground running. Pumps it back in. Dixon's at the back. Pretty keen to find him, and in from the side, Murphy.
And once again, long ball in. Forwards outnumbered. Just can't get a one-on-one crack at it at the moment.
Johnson, right half back. Chips it short of the wing. West slides in. Albie on the burst, close to the boundary line, working for that boundary line, a little left to right. Very clever. Very clever. Out of bounds, clock stops at 26 seconds.
For a young player, Albie is used in some pretty tight situations. They regard his foot skills pretty highly.
So time for a score either way. We're right on centre wing. Darcy pushes Holland off. West does the same, and we'll have another bounce.
Strong in the body, West, isn't he? Just moved young Brett Johnson sideways then.
205th game for Scotty West tonight. Four-time best and fairest winner. Been an absolute champion for the Western Bulldogs over the years. Gene Syracuse around the body as the clock ticks down to quarter time. And they've felt each other out, these two teams. There is going to be plenty of action left in this game, no doubt about it. And at quarter time, it's the Bulldogs by 7 points.
Second term, 7 points the margin. Darcy and Wren. Wren wins it on the way down. Slaps it out wide. Albie, quick hands away. West, a high ball. Cox is going back. Takes the mark. Nicely done. Simon Cox. Half back then. Plays on. Ran himself into trouble. Wren. Back to Cox. Wide is still Hay. Arches the back, slides away, found some space. Well, that's ambitious. Bandy almost chopped it off. Now a chance for Smith, kicks it back inside Darcy. Darcy runs to 35 metres out, measures the kick, and gets his first of the night.
Well, it's a costly one, and you feel for Jonathan Hay. Tried to make something happen, because as you saw at the ball, there wasn't all that many Bulldogs players around him. But he's tried for the impossible handball. He's sold himself back into trouble. Sometimes you've just got to accept, yeah, I'm forced out wide here. And he should have hit the boundary or gone out that way. And Darcy has no problem finishing off there. Just put himself in trouble, Jonathan Hay.
9 touches for Luke Darcy, 3 marks, 4 times inside 50. He is having a big influence once again.
Jonathan Hay, I mean, we just heard there from the doc, he copped a couple.
Looked like it.
Certainly on that occasion.
Up too early. No. Up too early. He can stand there. He's allowed to stand there.
There you go. No commentators required. I won't say that too many times, Dennis, I can tell you.
Pull that plug.
Here go the Hawks, inside 50. Can it stay this time? Out comes Thompson, does it well. Back to Vandenberg. He fumbles at the crucial moment, though. Gives himself a bit of a kick as he goes over the line. We'll have a throw in at the forward 50 for the Hawks.
And therein lies another part of the equation. That ball bounced to Thompson, one bounce, and he took it cleanly. That's the free kick to Wren. Apparently he's allowed to stand there. But that was the best delivery Thompson's had so far.
Wren, clean possession, throws it on the boot. It wanders down towards the pocket. Thompson up in front, and he's taken the mark. The big fellow, about 25 metres out, very sharp angle.
He's actually moving pretty well, Gary. He hasn't gloved any cleanly. That's the first one, but he's moving pretty well.
It's a matter of inches, isn't it? Some days you'll run out there, lead the same way, get the same amount of space in front of your opponent, and you'll get hit every time and have a day out.
Second mark.
Runs around, trying to hook it back. Too wide. Through for a behind. He bid 6 goals against the Bulldogs, round 7, 2000.
I tell you what,
Thompson.
Sorry, I tell you what was significant. Grant pushed forward into Hawthorn's forward line again, and this time his opponent Jonathan Hay went with him the whole way. So I don't think we'll see Chris Grant loose across half-back for too much more this game.
Albie punches the ball in short. This is Brown. Albie going up the pecking order, doing a lot of kickoffs now. Brown towards midfield and Smith. They're running better at the moment, the Dogs, creating space, although Smith belies that, looks around, eventually goes back to Brown, to Harrison. Inside the centre square, play on's the call. Interesting. Grant in trouble. Back to Harrison in space. Goes short. Albie's got it. Pushing up the ground. Now Smith. Normally a long kick. This is no exception. Hunter punched away down there by Graham. Camped in front. Jan Siracusa pulls it back across the body. Behind.
Gee, that's a good effort on the non-dominant side. And you can just see that they've done a lot of work at training where you put the witches' hats virtually from one point post way through the ground right down to the other end. You call it corridor footy, and the Dogs just do that so well. They just mix it up, chop it around, and just try and keep it in the corridor and move it forward.
So Raiden Tellers from full-back takes off. Works it around the boundary line. Rawlings. Well, brings it in dangerously. Hawks flirting with fate at the moment. They get the free kick. Adrian Cox. He does the same again. Risk, all right.
It's cute.
You can't get that lucky. Hunter.
See all the Doggies players side onto the kicker there. None of them were forward. Only 3 players forward.
Cross to Nathan Brown, and Nathan Brown says, thank you very much. Left foot training drill. The Cones put more pressure on the net. Goal.
Well, we saw the goal track before the game of where the Western Bulldogs kicked their goals from. Dermot, you made the call early in the piece that they tried to close them up around 50. Nathan Brown kicked 4 of his goals last week from 40 metres out or further. And this is how he does it. He just makes sure he's around the mark, he's close enough to the person who gets the footy, and then he's a beautiful converter from as far out as 50, 55 metres.
So the Dogs are humming. They lead by 19 points. Hawthorn need to be careful here. Back in the middle. Wren and the birthday boy, Luke Darcy, turns 27 today. Wins it down 2 into the path of West. Too easy. Got away. Kicks towards half forward. Coming up on the lead. The mark is taken by Brad Johnson. Ominous signs now for the Hawks.
And this will be yet another shot from around that 35 to 50 metre zone. We saw Brown earlier kick his goal from the 50 metre mark, kicked 4 last week from that area, and this is another longer shot at goal.
11 career goals against Hawthorn, his best 4, round 20 last season. It's going right to left, halfway up the post.
What's actually happening on the bounce downs again for the Doggies? Left-hand side of screen, when the bounce goes down in the centre, 5 of the 6 Bulldogs forwards are within about 15 metres of goal. So that quick kick that goes to half forward, the Doggies can just run to it unimpeded.
Nice play by young Cross there as well. Really put up the shepherd, which allowed West to get the clearing kick. Well, the Hawks have conceded 2 goals this quarter by being intercepted from about here. Graham gloves it this time.
Loney on.
Inside 50s for the Bulldogs, 1 for Hawthorn this quarter. Graham goes long. Here we go, another 2-on-1 situation from behind. The punch came from Hargrave. Holland was good enough. Brown's kick was smothered. Charged down. Hodge under pressure. Bit of panic. The 2 first-year players under siege down there at the moment. And the Doggies lock it up, and that is a moral victory.
Well, Terry Wallace is forcing Hawthorn to play the same style of game that they are playing. That is, he's forcing them to try and chip it short and kick short and try and spot blokes up. They can't do it as well as the Western Bulldogs. That's a big win.
Just strangling them at the moment. Liver underneath the packet. Comes out to Hodge. His kick was charged down. Beautiful smother by Johnson. Comes out to Albie. Tried to flick it out. Vandenberg hard at the ball for the Hawks.
That's a team holding the ball.
And it is. Good call, Derm. It'll go the way of West.
Yeah, you could
just explain it, Derm.
Yeah, what happens is when one player dives on the ball, what has been happening, a teammate dives on it as well, so the umpire can't adjudicate which one's actually holding the ball, and you just call it a team infringement.
Rawlings, or was it Cox who dropped the put? Graham at the back. Now's another chance for the Bulldogs. Umpires giving a free kick from the back.
Bit of panic set in down inside 50.
It was against Barlow. We'll have a look at the replay, and it's Cross who will line up for his first goal in football.
It was almost a throw, that one there, and then the driving the player into the ground. So technically it's there, and there is a little bit of uncertainty around about the Hawks.
So Daniel Cross, in his 4th game, has not scored in his career. taken at number 56 in the 2000 draft, originally from the Murray Bushrangers. In he comes, the 19-year-old. What a moment it is for him, and a big moment too for his team. They lead by 20. They lead by 26. He gets his first goal in football. Well done, son.
Goal for pressure, Doom. We saw two big smothers just around the 50-metre zone that kept the ball in the area, and eventually something gave. And as a result of working hard as forwards, young Cross kicks his first goal in footy.
Good hit. Nothing wrong with that one.
He timed it beautifully. Didn't try and kick it too hard. Just coolly and calmly slotted it through like he's been doing it for 10 years.
So the Bulldogs have got the last 4 goals in this game. Wren, well, they fought a draw, but West generally on the ground has been very effective. This is Johnson. He scrambles it inside the 50, almost at right angles. It comes out again. How will the statisticians call that? Albie gets a hand pass across. Hunter pulls it back towards the kickoff line. In from the side. Well, almost. John Siracusa goes with the outside of the boot and kicks the goal anyway. Not sure it was a mark. He's got his first. He's a clever player. A very good young player. Garlick is down.
Well, I would have been sure that young Luke Hodge against Gene Siracusa, as they stand toe-to-toe.
Don't give away a free kick. Just don't try and give away a free kick.
Good advice from the umpire. I would have been sure that Luke Hodge would beat him in the air there, but he's just outpositioned him here. He looked for body contact. He overcommitted on the body contact, Gary, and his weight was still going sideways.
Well, they're getting done out of the middle in a big way, and what's happened, because Hay has gone with Grant down to Hawthorn's forward line, it's left their whole front of the square open for the Bulldogs, and they are streaming through there.
Bulldogs have kicked the last 5 goals of the game to lead by 32 points. Hawks have to get going, but once again, it was West who flicked it out of the centre. Vandenberg for Hawthorn, trying to stem the tide. Out to Crawford, who's been quiet this quarter. Crawford goes wide. Out to Parker, takes the mark. Beat his man. Inside 50, Thompson takes the mark.
Parker onto the ground. First run for the night. Give him a bit of presence across half forward. Give them a target to go at with some confidence.
And Nick Holland, when he got spun around and went for that ball in the centre of the ground, ran with the flight, and he got poleaxed or semi-poleaxed. He got up again. Hasn't really had an effect on the game or a possession since. Bulldogs have been 4 goals 2-2 behind since Hawthorn's last goal at the 20-minute mark of the first quarter. And no joy here either. It's another behind. You've got to be accurate against the Doggies because they are the number 2 team in the league at taking the ball from a kick-in without the opposition touching it and getting a shot at goals at the other end. Growing in confidence too now, the Bulldogs. Nathan Thompson's had 2 kicks at goal for 2 behinds. That kick was a shocker from Johnson to that man Thompson. He kicks it to centre half forward. The mark's been taken by Loney. He can run on here as a beautiful kick. Left foot, you'd almost back him. He goes in. I've got the money.
Well called, Edward.
You've been looking at the mirror.
Goal to the Hawks. Badly needed one.
And when I say the mirror, his brother.
Thanks, Jim.
Yeah, carbon copy, aren't they? They're exactly the same player pretty well. They both kick it very, very handsomely.
And with all due respect to you, Eddie, there won't be too many times where you'll be able to tell Chris Grant how to play the game of footy, but Chris Grant paid the price for not knowing the capabilities of that footballer then. He backed off the mark to try and cover someone else off when he should have known that he was a long kick.
I'll leave that to Sam Newman.
7-5 plays 3-4. There's Grant in 2 minds. Chose wrongly that time. Backed off Loney. Wonderful kick. Peter Ruckman touched the ball. Having a bad air day there. Out of the middle. Crawford down towards half forward. Smith missed it. Murphy. Nicely worked. Harrison. Chips it back towards the pocket, and Grant.
Nick Holland needs a break. He's gone flat at centre half forward. He couldn't make up the ground to be a competitor then.
Smith to Liberatore. He had the dancing feet. Libber wants to go. Run down from behind. How did he kick that? He stubbed it down towards half forward. Thought he was gone. Chicken the road. Long telling kick. Holland stood his ground. Good grab. Man on inside the 50. It's Graham. Cox can go to him. And Graham's got it now. Told to play on. Squares the ball. It's okay. Across the ground to Johnson. and he's marked about 35 metres out. They even made that interesting.
Yeah, Holland ended up with the mark just outside 50, and when I called, he'd gone flat. The reason he marked it was because he hadn't moved from the time the ball exited the area. He's just looking fatigued at the moment. Simon Cox coming off for a breather. This bloke can kick it. He's not a long kick, but he's pretty accurate and spots it up pretty well.
Clever player from Swan Districts. Kicks. Goal umpire goes a fair way, but it's a goal. Gee, they needed that one.
Almost a reversal, Gary. Hawthorn going forward of the centre now from the first quarter, are not panicking forward of the centre. They didn't panic then. They made it interesting, as Dennis called it, but they're panicking in the back half. When it goes down there, they're under pressure. With Hay being dragged away from there, their premier backman, they're panicking a little bit down there, but not forward. It's a real reversal from the first quarter.
Yeah, I think it's out the middle where they've got the biggest problems at the moment.
So a turnover from Tony Liberatore ends up with Johnson's goal, and we're back to 19 points. The Hawks have kicked the last two to get back in it, and they get the centre break. Look at this, the charge of the Brown goal. Beautiful handball out from Brown to Johnson. He was grabbed high, it seemed at first. The umpires picked the second head-high tackle. It goes to West of the Bulldogs. No one on the mark, so West goes short to Garlick, who just takes the mark in front of Dixon.
Now this is where you see the long shot will show the doggies like to get side onto the ball. You watch Johnson run through the side here.
The Hawks have gone man on man now, trying to close it down through the midfield.
It's a good tactical game of footy tonight.
Great tactical game, no doubt about that. Wren from behind, Darcy to the front, too strong, too good. Kick was a top spinner. Been watching the tennis. Bandy belies his height with some agility, but it was pinched. Hodge, beautiful kick forward. At full stretch, Holland with the dicky shoulders, unable to take the mark. West around the corner. Johnson looks up. Guess who? Darcy. From 45 metres, he goes for the handball. It was an underground handball. Didn't help Harrison at all, and Hay takes him to the boundary line for a throw-in.
Yeah,
Tony Jones.
Thanks, Eddie. Matty Robbins has come onto the ground for the Bulldogs. This is his first game back since round 3. You might remember he was cleaned up by Jakovic and suffered a broken collarbone.
Ren on Darcy is looming as a big problem for the Hawks at the moment when it goes forward.
Libba has a spell for the indiscretion in the middle. It was an ordinary throw in, that one. It dropped short. Robbins gets the goal.
I reckon you got a case. You've definitely got a case if you're a Hawthorn supporter to be filthy with that boundary umpire. He's not eaten enough today because that didn't go anywhere near where it should have gone.
Nonetheless, Robbins was pretty good at getting onto it. You watch him here, he just pushes Tallis away, and Tallis fails to get body on him again. And he's done pretty well there, young Robbins. The original movement was just like a bench press movement, a push in the chest on Tallis, and Tallis struggled to regroup.
So bad throw in. Harms the Hawks, 8-5-4-4. Bandy slaps it down. Down goes Brown. Over the ball, Crawford. West taken high again. No free kick. Taken front on by Chick, and we'll have a ball up.
Out of the centre, they look so dangerous as Peter Schwab lays the law down, the Bulldogs, but Hawthorn have won more footy out of the middle. They're 8-4 out of the centre.
I think that's been glorified by the first quarter stats.
It's always the runner who cops it. Darcy, Breeze, through the congestion. It goes about 15 metres. Riding one, but Crediuk did well. Jan Siracusa spins around, tries to spear the pass to Darcy. Didn't get there, though. Getting in front, Clark. Plays on. Goes for distance. Intended for Barker. Tried to work in front. Knocked down in front by Crediuk, who was then taken high, and he'll get the free kick. It was at Robbins. It's Robbins who'll take the free. Crediuk sore, feeling that shoulder.
Poor kick there. It needed to come in with a bit of height. It went flat and suited the shorter man in front.
Here's Brown into Mines. Crediuk. I think he intends walking across to the interchange gates. Meantime, he gets a hand pass to Robbins. No, Crediuk's okay. Darcy, awkward half volley. And out of bounds it goes. Well, now, okay, is a relative thing.
Campbell Brown was the man, or the boy man, to put the hit on.
He's a good kid, isn't he? He has a real dip. He's only a few games short before Mel becomes the father of Campbell.
Exactly, yeah. He might have just had a little subluxation of the shoulder there. In the meantime, McMahon has a flying shot of the goal. It's across the face and through for a point. I don't want to infringe on Doc Larkins, Peter.
I was just saying it to the producer. It looks like an AC joint from that collision, which is the one Matty Robbins did his collarbone in a similar incident. So he probably be a bit sore for the rest of the night after that, Ed.
I'm not sure we'll adopt Father of Campbell as a nickname, though. Touch dangerous.
Yes, indeed. Hey, in the back pocket.
And Wren comes off the ground. And Simon Cox returns.
Hodge goes out wide to Rawlings.
Jono there. Play on.
Hodge kept running on defensive 50. Plays on now. Over the top. Oh, he just has to measure it. It was a good kick. And Chick takes the mark.
Barker going to centre-half forward now has forced Chris Grant to play a lot closer as a centre-half back. He's had less of the ball in the back half this quarter.
Chick goes long up towards the half-forward flank position. Off hands. Crediuk, that'll test the shoulder out. He went hard at it as always. Knocks it forward. Loney tries to crash his way through the pack. Gian Siracusa sits on the top of it. Loney throws it on the boot inside 50. It'll come off because Holland stands his ground and takes the mark.
It's super important that you make Chris Grant accountable because it's just opened up and all of a sudden these players are starting to just have a one-on-one contest. That's all you want as a forward. You don't want some of the quality of Chris Grant just floating across the front of you when you've beaten your man.
26 points the difference. As in comes Holland. Won't make the distance. Bandy across the front. Oh, was it? No, just hit the post. It's a point.
They've lost a bit of their run through the middle, the Doggies at the moment. Just gone a bit flat, but Hawthorn have pressed and gone man on man, so they don't have easy targets out wide of wherever the ball is.
Margin 25 points. Saw Kingsley Hunter prowling the boundary line. This is Mark Albie to bring it in, told to hurry up. He's looking for Chris Grant, outnumbered, off his fingertips. Thompson stood up in the tackle. Hand passes out wide, storming through Rawlings. Did pretty well. Vandenberg to Loney. Can he get his second? Slides across the face and to behind. Well, the Hawks looking much better. Enjoying a good patch at the moment. Wren sits down. Albie to bring it in again. Just under 7 minutes till half-time. And you sense a very important 7-minute period coming up here. A little chip. He disguises it pretty well, Albie. Generally hits a man. This is Gian Siracusa. They're so good by foot and hand, the Bulldogs. Brown chips it in short. Having said that, of course, Hodge over the top, thumps it down. Taken by Vandenberg. Launches this one very high, bounces off the roof, comes down to Brown, goes it and kicks a goal.
Gee, that's a great effort. There we are. They're pretty proud parents here.
Absolutely.
Malcolm and Kay. The thing about this, one player kept his eyes on the footy, the other one had a big swipe at it and missed it completely. And he's impressive. He hasn't done anything startling, but it's just little things like this. Crediuk missed the footy, missed the body, missed everything. Campbell Brown was able to trap it.
Yeah, good pace to get away from the contest. But eyes on the ball and good pace.
So Campbell Brown gets his first goal of the game. Look at this. This is courage. They're bearing down on him. Crediuk, certainly not the man you want to be under a pack with him bearing down. And Campbell Brown with eyes for the ball kicks the goal and it's back to 18 points with 6.5 minutes to go. In goes Darcy, gets the tap. Nathan Brown out of the centre. Big kick inside 50 it goes. Almost the mark to Johnson. They dive in on top of it. Umpire will bounce 55 metres out from the Bulldog goal.
Chick's having to go back onto Brad Johnson now with Campbell Brown pushing forward. It's almost a wholesale change there.
Quick ball up. Chick, Johnson. Hawks lead the race for the ball. It's Holland. Can't pick it up. Now he does. Close to the boundary line. Played safe. Tallis tries to get underneath Darcy. He's in trouble. He is caught high, says the umpire. And Braden Tallis will take the free kick.
Just got him high. Thanks, Dave. Yeah, it's your kick. Thanks, mate.
Oh, very nice and convivial down there.
Love it.
Braden Tallis.
Simon Cox loitering at centre-half forward, just keeping Chris Grant away from where the drop zone will be for this one straight down the line.
Fifth touch goes short. Rees takes the mark. Just under 5.5, as you can see. An important 5.5.
Now they're on further over.
Loney will transfer play. Kick was a half volley to Rawlings. Up the centre of the ground. Graham. High up and under. To the forward 50. Hay couldn't quite hold it. Gene Syracuse, the man who gets away more often than any player in the AFL to take uncontested marks, was run down by Loney, and the umpire will say, ball, you're gone, son. And Loney will take the free kick on centre wing.
The Dogs are very good at getting the footy into the hands of the players that can kick the ball very well. You've got to get in the hands of this bloke, Loney. He is a beautiful kick of the footy.
They've got one-on-ones forward at the moment.
Clark to Vandenberg across the ground. Tallis can take it and go. Well, almost held up. Well done by McMahon. Short one back towards the middle. Vandenberg. The Hawks have come back strongly. 36 plays 54. Kick inside the 50. Cox.
Yes.
Well, Cox, I called it before. He's tried to keep Grant away. This is actually a good move, putting Cox on there, because he's, look, being honest to him, he's done well, but he's half the player Chris Grant is. Thompson comes this way. Grant's not paying him any respect, but the fact that he can seriously kick it means he'll have to watch him now within range of goal. Not a long kick. Beautifully accurate kick, but not long.
58 games with the Bulldogs. Well, as it turns out, it's a long kick, but not terribly accurate. Sorry, Dave.
But he's just overstretched. He's changed his action on the delivery then and just hoiked it. He's kicked it a lot higher than what he normally would.
So 17 points with 4 minutes to go. The Bulldogs have been closed down. Hawks have kicked the last. The Bulldogs rather have kicked the. Sorry, I'll go have another go. They've gone 1 for 1 in the last 2 goals. Robbins and then Brown for the Hawthorn side. Hawks have kicked 3 of the last 4. Adrian Cox. Here's a chance. They can make it a goal here. Brown just went one handball too many. It clicks out the back. Umpire was a bit lenient to Chick, and Chick will kick the goal. That is a beauty for the Hawks. His first.
Well, Chick is legitimately playing as the full-back right at this point in time, and he's kicked a goal there. He didn't kick one as a stay-at-home forward, but he's kicked one as a full-back playing on Johnson. So he's drifted down the ground. Johnson swaps and goes onto the ball down. Nathan Brown will be Chick's opponent at full-back.
It's critical now that they just get one good shot at it inside their forward 50 for the Hawks.
Daniel Chick averaging 11 possessions a game this season, down from 16 last season and 16 the previous season. Here's Johnson out of the middle, down towards half forward, bounces inside the 50. The Hawks are light. Graham in trouble, gets a hand pass away. Garlick slides in, and that's enough to tie things up right on the attacking 50 for Hawthorn, but suddenly doing better inside the centre square, and the whole game has turned on its head.
You're also seeing an example of why coaches earn their money. I reckon both coaches have had a big influence on this game from the box.
Graham over the top, fists well inside the 50. Brown slung, spills to Clark. Clark throws it on the boot. It wanders down towards the pocket. Out of bounds on the full. Well, a couple of sons of former champions combining there. But the Dogs come up with a footy. Croft in the back pocket. Under 3 minutes till the major break. 54 plays 43. Friday night football with so much riding on this game. And Croft taking plenty of time. Getting plenty of advice. Drives it outside the 50. From behind, Holland, it's going back in. There's a man on short to the pocket. That's Graham, still unchecked. Loney hasn't seen him. Goes across the ground instead. The target is Thompson, and he'll get a free kick. There's another one.
Well, Crofty forces the issue. He is a brilliant backman, a professional backman, Croft, and if he can't get to it, he'll force the issue, and he couldn't get to it, so he just gives the slight little nudge on the back of the head. There's 50. That's soft. That is soft.
And there it is. That encapsulates where the game's at. It has swung. The whole momentum of the thing has swung back Hawthorn's way, and the Dogs, who were very much in the driver's seat, as much as 30-plus points ahead at one stage during this second quarter, they've lost all momentum.
Thompson gets the goal. And Hawthorn right back in it.
Well, that's an old backman's trick. If you're caught behind and you can't get a spoil on the ball, what you try and do is gently move the player's head forward. Some would say you try and cave it in occasionally, Ed, but just move it forward and take his eyes away from his hands. And that's what Crofty did. He's a professional player, but the umpire was onto it and awarded the free kick.
Stephen Green there, he was the player coming the other way. He looks to be the... Well, that was what the 50 was for, was it? Maybe that was the 50 given by the other umpire. So perhaps he saw something with the Green Crediuk incident, awarded the 50 as a result of that.
Well, the Bulldogs kicked the first 4 goals of this quarter to get out to 32 points. Since then, it's been 5 goals to 1 in favour of the Hawks. It was 7 points at quarter time. Now it's 5 points.
Ed, I can tell you the 50 was given because Robert Murphy kicked the football away after the free kick was played. Umpire can.
Yep.
Doggies have dried up for possessions from their smaller men in the midfield after about the 15-minute mark of this quarter.
Well, Dennis said it was been an important last 5 minutes of this quarter, and the Hawks have kicked 3 goals in that period. 5 points of difference, ticking down to the last 2 minutes of the quarter. Inside 50, 13 Hawthorn, 9 the Bulldogs in the second term.
A lot of space either way out of this ruck out. All the numbers around the ball.
This is a big break, and it's Loney who gets it out to Hay. Backtracking over the top to Holland, who's been fantastic this quarter. Holland out to Loney, who's given them run and penetration with the kicks. Bounces off the head of Graham almost there over the line and out of bounds. We'll have a throw in with a minute and a half, just over a minute and a half left in the quarter.
8 possessions to Loney.
The big difference is the accountability factor. There was very little in the first quarter and a half. Peter Schwab's now got them, the Bulldogs, that is, playing accountable footy, and it's been the big difference.
Graham inside the 50. Crawford gets away. Question of accuracy. He's got it. And the Hawks, against all odds, hit the front.
Well, you see a situation now where they can run into the forward line and not be confronted by 1 or 2 loose dogs, whether it be Harrison or Grant in the first quarter. They've all got men now that they have to worry about. They've got dangerous forwards they've got to worry about. And look at the room that he's able to run into, Shane Crawford. That's what you need if you're a forward. You need the opposition to be playing as defenders and let you dictate terms. And that's what the Hawks have managed to do in the second half of this quarter.
Johnny Barker's only had 1 possession this quarter, but his coming onto the ground, pushing up to the midfield, has allowed Nick Holland to stay at home. He recuperated after having the tongue hanging out of the side of his head, and he's now gone onto the ball, and a major impact.
Hawks have kicked 4 goals in 8 minutes. The last 4 they've kicked, 6 of the last 7 of the game to hit the front by a point. But here's a chance now for McMahon of the Bulldogs. He kicks around the corner up to the forward pocket, off hands. Hay has been good this quarter as well. We'll have a throw in. But from a Hawks point of view, Campbell, Brown, Loney, these sort of young players coming through, they have really lifted.
Yeah, well, it's good times for the club. They've blooded 14 first gamers since round 1 last year, so they are an incredibly young side. And it's good to see tonight that the young kids are the ones bringing them back into it.
And a couple of old stages, particularly Holland, has really lifted.
So much space goal side there. Robbins has got it, taken down, spills towards the boundary. Good result for the Hawks as Cox.
That's going to happen though, Dennis. When you go man on man, a well-drilled forward, a pack will actually pull up towards the ball and make all that space for them to run into. So it's not as if you can peel off your man if you're playing one-on-one.
This bloke can throw it in.
Well, yes. Up goes Bandy, hooks it down behind. In goes Loney. McGuinness, tackled immediately by Holland, who, as Ed said, has been wonderful in this term. Young McGuinness started his career so well last week. Made his debut wearing number 29. Chris Grant, of course, made his debut wearing number 29 back in 1990. Filling for the space around the ground. Darcy charges in, spills behind. Hay off the step, not his best effort. It bounces up towards the wing. Graham charges up to meet it. Harrison there, tackling anyone he saw on the ground. Actually, he got the wrong man, but it didn't matter. It goes out of bounds. He was in a tackling frenzy. He'll have it tossed in on the wing.
That's been good by Holland, hasn't he? He does have a good stamina base, and the fact is when he can run around on the ball and doesn't have an opponent punching his head in from behind all the time, he's enjoyed it.
Inside the final 20 seconds. One last roll of the dice for the Hawks, maybe. Hodge up towards half forward. Clark over the top, over the line, out of bounds. We'll have a throw in. Still time for a Hawthorn score.
He's a dodgy thrower, isn't he? Someone's got to get the message out to the ruckman. He is struggling for distance, this bloke.
Let's have a good look at him. Tell you what, Peter Schwab on the phone. non-stop. Rob Dixon. It was another short throw. The kick out of the pack from Hargrave up towards the wing position. Nathan Brown on the siren.
Look at that. I mean, are you going to call it a second head? But you see Nathan Brown, he just gave the little toe poke. He just toe poked that up to his teammate then.
It was
off
good
the
play.
ground. It was fantastic play. I mean,
Hawthorn came back very strongly.
Beautifully done.
There's the opening bounce, third term. Wren has to wait. Darcy flew over the top, knocked it wide. Johnson could have been pushed in the back. The ball squeezed out. Liberatore did well. Back to Smith. Boots it down towards half forward. Clears the pack. Loose ball behind. Here's a chance for Grant. Tries to flick it back. Hacked out of midair by Johnson. Goal of the season. Goal of the season. Book it in now.
You can't have that as goal of the year, can you?
Yes.
Oh, that is as good a volley as you'd see.
I don't know about that one.
Brad Johnson is a great celebrator of goals like Rowan Smith. I reckon even, you have a look at him when he kicks it, he says to himself, well,
This is all meant.
this could have gone anywhere.
Ronaldo.
It's gone right through the middle.
Spun properly.
Oh, dear.
Well, if you guys don't give that, you're very
I like
harsh
it.
markers.
I do like it, but I'm not sure how much skill was involved.
Oh, there's a bit of a wry smile there. And Terry Wallace recognises it as well. Yeah, good luck to him.
So the Bulldogs off to a flyer in the second half. Within 30 seconds, they have a goal on the board and they're back in front by 5 points. Darcy attacks the ball hard. West, Brown, the big names are combining. Brown from 55, getting back with the fingertips was Graham for the Hawks.
Short to the pocket. Daniel Chick.
Released too early there, Nathan Brown. He could have run a little bit further and covered the distance.
This is Green. Terrific game of footy. Well, Brad Johnson does that effectively quite often, working off the mark, virtually going across at 45 degrees. Made me chuckle in the previous quarter. It was called play on at one stage, and the man with the footy hadn't moved. It was the man on the mark who was moving. This is Crawford.
Try to go short a lot, don't they, the Hawks, from deep in defence?
Towering kick around the outer side. Wren got rid of Darcy and claimed the mark. Well done by the big fellow. Chips it down towards half forward. Getting across is Smith. Try to punch it away. Getting back in the race is Croft, and out it goes.
So important that Sean Wren sticks at it, which we know he will. He's got a huge heart. But Bandy and Darcy will be coming at him in the second half, and that's a good psychological victory for him.
Jonathan Hayes snuck down into the Hawthorn forward line, makes the Doggies pull one away from this congested throw-in.
Wren just drifts forward. Darcy stayed to do the ruck work against Holland on hands and knees. He gets it out to West. Another underground handball to Smith. They run it out beautifully though. Harrison over the top. Gian Siracusa backwards. In fact, it was McMahon. Harrison. Ooh, dangerous stuff, but it pays off.
Just had nothing up to kick to, Ed. They had to go back. There was just no target up the ground.
One thing Terry Wallace is very big on is under pressure like that, he loves his players not to panic.
Brown playing almost like a quarterback, takes the ball. This is Gian Siracusa for his 10th possession. From half-back flank, looking up.
Joe Rawlings has done a fantastic job on Daniel Bandy, who you said is the next man in the equation in the ruck. He's going to him now.
Wobbly old kick forward. Bandy got to the front.
Fourth
Umpire said he
possession.
was being held by Rawlings.
Fourth possession coming up for Daniel Bandy.
It was an important one because the kick was ordinary. It was a 50-50 contest and Bandy won it. Hunter offers a lead half-heartedly.
There's room for Grant if he comes straight down the middle.
Kicks it wide of the pocket.
Johnson does.
Johnson went to the side. Grant went to the goal line. Open it up enough. Well, if you thought the first one was a fluke, this one will certainly be deliberate.
So often when they're in a little bit of trouble, the Bulldogs, they will turn to this man. They'll send him to the goal square and have him as a leading forward, one that presents the footy so very well. And he's so talented that if he was to play there all year, he could quite easily rack up 65, 70 goals, I reckon. He's
No
that
doubt.
good.
Two-time All-Australian, best and fairest in 99, has kicked 30 goals this season, 30 goals, 17, make that 31. And the Bulldogs lead by 11 as he kicks his second.
Well, he's really earned that one because when you watch him run the semicircle on Daniel Chick and see him get on the lead there, what's unusual about that is he's got the break of about 3 or 4 metres. Now watch him here, and Chick closes him. He'll come back in and run anti-clockwise. See there, you got 3 or 4 metres. By the time he marks it, Chick's almost closed him there. You've seen Chick's pace, but he just didn't read it quick enough.
Good start by the Dogs. They're out by 11 points now. Darcy props in front. Wren knocks it down. Crawford left it behind. Spills wide. Taken by Loney. Wheels around. Kicks towards the wing. Coming up to meet it, Crawford. Awkward bounce. Liberatore leads back in the race. He'll want the boundary line. In fact, he got better than he bargained for. He was headed for the boundary line. He was pushed in the back.
He's had a great night, Shane Crawford, tonight.
10 possessions to Crawford.
Hear the Brownlows rattling. Down he went as the kick comes up towards the wing. Off hands. Johnson. Already 2 goals in the term. Held. Hand passes to half forward. Chopped off by Hay. Quick hands away. Loney had it knocked away by West. Hay goes again. Kicks it out towards the boundary. Tracks it. And out it goes.
What to say about Jonathan Hay? He's starting to move better over the last 2 or 3 weeks, and he's starting to glove them one takes, but his decision-making tonight has not been exactly what you would like as a Hawthorn coach.
So 11 points the difference. Bulldogs were the first 2 goals of the third term. They kicked the first 4 of the second before the Hawks came back to lead by a point at half-time. Hodge. Beautiful kick of the ball to Loney, who takes the mark on defensive 50.
He's going to be a beauty, Luke Hodge. Let's not forget he's still in his footballing infancy. He is going to be an absolute ripper.
And look at Smith there, just dancing around, staying off the mark, knowing that Loney was hoping to switch.
Now this is a better move, getting it back there. They're going backwards. They get the centre of the ground. And the other way, even though they're further up, they've only got one wing to play in. Now they can open it down the middle.
Rawlings and Chick racking up the stats with each other as they wax in defensive 50. Chick keeps running, gets it back from half back. Here's a 50-50 contest. Cox has to keep his feet. He goes to ground, did it well. Some support finally, but it was Robbins with numbers. Gene Siracusa over to Grant. Oh, Grant cocks it up. Rees in the centre of the ground. West. Everyone waited. Liberatore said, this is mine. He was grabbed with that. The ball umpire called play on. Graham to Vandenberg. Out wide. Green ducks his head. Brown over the top. It comes to Loney. Loney's kick is smothered by Hunter. Hard in the clinches at the moment as Smith gets the handball working out to West.
Garlick's free.
Left foot kick inside the 50. Good play there by Jade Rawlings. Did it beautifully off the ground. Wren. Johnson over the top. Wants a ball up. Umpire says you can have one, and we'll have a bounce just inside the 50. 14 and a half minutes to go. Bulldogs by 11. The inside 50s. Dogs 4. Hawks yet to have one in the third term.
See, that was unusual by Scotty West. He had Garlick free out on the far forward flank, close to the camera, and didn't see him.
Darcy in front and from the side. Rawlings knocked it down. Garlick had the run of it, left it behind. Cox in trouble, out of trouble, did brilliantly. Graham kicks up towards the wing. Now a chance for the Hawks. Johnson onto the loose ball, strides through the wing, kicks inside the 50. Thompson will fly.
Well, that was sitting up there, Gary, and it was like a half volley outside off stump saying, smack me to the boundary. They were stationary. They were caught underneath it.
Oh, that's mark of the year.
That is a catch and a half.
That is mark of the year, Edward.
Listen to you.
That is Michael Roach, circa 1980, 79,
That
80.
is a screamer.
That is an absolute beauty.
I want to go back to goal of the night. Here's Thompson, 20 metres out. What a wonderful finish. His second goal. What a lifter.
Oh, give me another look at that. There's no fluke about this, Mark. He absolutely is a beauty, dude.
He'll get him dirty.
I know, he's getting filthy on me. Have a look at this.
Crofty's gone the wrong way.
He's a big man. I tell you what, he's sitting on John Barker's shoulders. What is it this year, Mark of the year? Car? Holden?
Well, it's a car. Be something, yes.
Oh, that looks better from that angle.
Gee, that is a big mark.
Good number.
Well, let's have a look at this one again.
It's a long time since 23's been that high. I'll give you the tip.
Settle down, Gary.
Look at that one. Up it goes. Oh, screamer.
Got to say, young Brett Johnson, too, he saw the stationary boys there. He is a smart kick, and he popped that on top of them for Thompson.
He should get at least a lift home from picking up the
Get a wheel nut.
Well, it'll be a battle between the 23s. For the mark of the year so far, both against the Bulldogs, with Anthony Rocker jumping over a goal square pack, and Thompson's one was a beauty because he ran 30 metres. The timing was impeccable.
I'm sorry, Anthony, if you're watching, you better get to it on the weekend, son, because you've got to beat that.
Throw in. That was a screamer. Well, I'll tell you what, it's all academic, though, because the scoreboard is all important for both these clubs. Loney was tripped. He'll get the free kick. How many now for Nathan Loney?
Yeah, he's actually done pretty well. Yeah, remember, he only came on halfway through the second quarter. This is coming up for his 12th possession.
It is indeed. So the Hawks trail by 5 points. What a lifter from Thompson. Has made a huge difference from coming back from injury a few weeks ago. From behind, Harrison slaps it forward. Brown tries to crash through. Reese gets the ball working to the skipper. Over the top to Adrian Cox. Slips as he gets his kick away. Oh, they've knocked it up. Crediot goes through. Bit of panic. I tell you what, the pressure is not only there, it is inferred, and it is literally there. As Vandenberg, no, it's Barker, has a snap and it's hit the post.
Touched as well. I think the field umpire was signalling.
I tell you what, it is on. There's no doubt about it. Tony Jones, boundary side.
Well, Gary, don't get Nathan Thompson too excited about a Carmo, because the CUB mark of the year is, in fact, a week's holiday for two of the high at Coolum, which is fantastic, but it's no Monaro.
Yeah, you did right there.
You have to win the Player of the Year award for the Monaro. Harrison at the fence at 50 for the Bulldogs, and they're just getting a little bit of stage fright at the moment.
Terrific game. Bulldogs by 4 points. McMahon, outside wing, penetrating kick inside the 50. Fisted away down there. Wide of the pack. Brown, quick hands. John Siracusa slung. McMahon wide with the hand pass. Robbins, 55 metres out, runs inside the 50. Sharp angle. Wonderful finish. His second. Oh, this is cream tonight.
Gee, that is a good goal. You have a look at Matthew Robbins. He sums his situation up really quickly. He's tied in on the boundary line on his left foot, realises that he buys himself a little bit of space, and he says, I'm going to have a shot at this. Watch here. He has a think and then says, yep, I'm going to have a go. And right off the boot, he had the arm in the air. So it's a really good, timely goal for the Western Bulldogs.
And it was Sean Wren forcing him out wide. He realised that Wren couldn't get to him. And had it been another player, and Wren did the right thing. If Wren commits to that, you sidestep him and you go inside and widen the angle. So, look, good, knowledgeable play by both players. Wren did all he could.
It is a matter of inches, as you said before, Gary. Barker hits the post. 11-point turnaround as the goal goes straight down the other end. Loney again with the left foot. He kicks around the body, picks up 40 metres, but Harrison gets back and takes the mark.
That's a situation they had in the first quarter, and the Bulldogs relished it.
Johnson on centre wing. Beautiful kick up the line. Mark's been taken by Gian Siracusa. The left foot kick was over the head of the lead. Coming through was Hunter, though. Couldn't quite collect the ball. He has a second go at it now. He's held up by 3. Hawks will have a bounce 45 metres out.
Yeah, the quick kick that came out of the centre went to Harrison. The corresponding free man at the other end is Luke Hodge.
All up. Chick. Crashes through. Rawlings out wide. Needs to be a good kick. Was punched away. Loney again. Swings onto the left boot. Has Wren on in the middle of the ground and hits him. Sean Wren up to half forward. Out comes Holland. Crediuk at the back for the Bulldogs. The kick was a beauty. Robbins, though, mucked it up. Chance for the turnover here. Johnson, Crawford, dancing, using soccer tactics, now rugby tactics with the fend away. Beautiful sweeping handball out wide to Adrian Cox. Look at this, Holland's all on his own. There's a Bulldog down in a lot of trouble.
Smith.
Holland now. Long, Thompson can have a second go. Up he goes and almost takes the mark. Barlow, close to the boundary line. No, the umpire says over the line and out of bounds. We'll have a throw in the right forward pocket. Let's have a look at Smith in a lot of trouble. He flies here. And just caught one high. I don't know if he jarred his knee on the way down. I think it's more his head.
I think it was the landing. Close to the boundary line. Picked up by Johnson.
He's found a bit of it in the last 2 or 3 minutes in the back half.
Inside 10 minutes till three-quarter time. Close to the boundary line. Surely Darcy didn't have the footy.
Man down, the Bulldogs. Surely get the stretcher out, wouldn't you, and stop the game?
Well, this is a blow for them. Smith has been handy tonight.
Yes, as he fell. Collarbone.
Yep. So there's a lull in proceedings, but not for him coming off. Simply Darcy holding things up and goes to Brown. Let's go down to Dr. Peter Larkins.
Eddie, I'll give you a 10 out of 10 for that, because I reckon it could be collarbone as well. It's a shoulder injury, not the head. He may have actually dislocated the shoulder, and that's why they're protecting it as well. So they're going to get in the bench and have a better look at him in the cool light. A lot of pain, left shoulder, Rowan Smith.
Holland has been terrific. Gave it to Chick. This is Rawlings across half back. Nobody standing the mark. Play on's the call. Don't figure that out. Cross he comes to Graham. Graham sends play up towards the wing. Well-weighted kick. Loney can run onto it. Hunter is very fast. Got across on the angle. And that's a good result for the Dogs.
Bad blow for the Dogs. Let's have a look at it.
Left shoulder.
Bang.
Ugh.
Whether it was in the marking contest or when he landed, I suppose, might tell the story.
13 disposals, 4 inside 50s and 3 rebound from the 50s for
Loney's
Smith.
press forward. Sorry, Ed. If they get it forward, they're in trouble here, the Doggies.
Yep, Loney's just lurking on his own in the forward pocket. Peter Larkins a little bit more, Doc.
Yeah, Rowan Smith in a lot of pain. Eddie's sitting down on his haunches. They're just looking at his shoulder blade, the back of his left shoulder, looking at the upper ribs, and they're worried about a crack in the back of his shoulder blade, so-called scapula.
All right. Wren gets the tap. Over the line and out of bounds. Throw in as McGuinness hands it back. So a sad sight for the Bulldogs, not only for tonight, obviously, but for the rest of the season. Rowan Smith, as we saw at half-time, not only a great player, but a fantastic personality and leader around the club. Libber over the top. Tries to knock it out. Croft, Wells. Over bounce. 62-72, the Bulldogs by 10 points with a tick over 8 minutes left in the third quarter. There's the top 5 disposals. 20 to Westy. Johnson has 18. Hodge has been good with 16. Harrison and Brown, 4 of the 5 Bulldogs.
Dogs by 10 points, Darcy. Clean possession. McGuinness did pretty well. Kicks it very high. It's gone about 25 metres. Coming up, Hodge had it bounce off his chest. Green back towards the middle. Vandenberg, brilliantly done. Releases Chick, gets away. 25 metres out, kicks a goal. His second. We've seen some brilliance tonight.
And if you're a Hawthorn supporter, that's what you'd like to see more of, I think. I'd like to see Daniel Chick back in his amazing athletic ability.
Gee, that's a good step, isn't it? The step-up pace here.
Yeah, look at this. He just says to Credit, well,
bang, bang.
Catch me if you can. There's even Robbins, he's very quick himself. So he's got amazing power. And I'd be saying, if I was coaching Daniel Chick, right, I'd start to back yourself in a bit and take a few players on.
So what a game we've got on our hands here. 4 points of difference. The Bulldogs in front, but the Hawks just won't go away. Brown with a kick. And it comes to Adrian Cox. Left foot kick, hard one to mark that one. No one near it. Out comes Parker. Beautiful tap down to Dixon, who's been quiet. Had it for an hour. Gone.
Been a bit crook during the week, Benny Dixon. A little bit of illness, and he spent a fair bit of time on the bench tonight. Didn't get much sleep last night, he said earlier today.
Yep.
It's been quite crook. So with Wren going off, Holland goes into the ruck. He did well in the second quarter there, and Dixon goes to the half-forward line.
Only 2 touches for Dixon. Hargrave from half-back for the Bulldogs. A nice tackle. Kicks to the centre wing position. Bandy was there. Oh, look at that front and square. Brown has a bounce and runs. Has a second bounce and looks up now. Wants a target. He gets one little chip. Oh, just 15.
His pace has got better this year, Nathan Brown. He's worked on that in the off-season. You saw him go away from that scrimmage on the wing half-back. Couple of bounces and no one was able to catch him.
Bulldogs by 4 points. Chris Grant has kicked 16 goals, 16 for the year, and has 495 career goals. This is a big one for the skipper.
It is one of those ones that you'd like to see your captain kick. And, gee, they queued up for that drop of the ball. Brown did it beautifully and good composure, that Grant.
4 to become 10. If Grant can slot this one from just on 50. Beautiful kick off the boot. Look at that. That is a captain's goal if they've ever seen one. He gets his first. The Dogs by 10 points.
It is a great kick. I've seen a few of the Western Bulldogs games in the past 2 or 3 weeks, and he has copped a lot of punishment, Chris Grant. He's had shoulders, ankle, I think he might have even had a knee as well. And look, that's good composure from Nathan Brown on the right foot, rather than he knew he wasn't a chance to score a goal, just looked inside and said, well, might not be the most dramatic of plays, but it gives us a good shot. Rowan Smith running the boundary.
That's a good sign. Smith up and running. Western Bulldogs lead by 10 points. Darcy up early. Crawford went in. Quick hands away by Brown. Darcy goes with the right boot inside the attacking 50. Standing his ground is Tallis. Tallis drives it up towards the wing. Krediuk pushes in the back. Free kick to Holland.
Took a dive. Make sure the umpire's seen it. Has seen it.
Holland has been very good. 14 disposals for Holland.
Sorry, Dennis. They've got to get some return out of Barker, Barlow or Dixon.
Oh, interesting kick. Tailor-made for Robbins over the top. Rees did brilliantly. Knocked it to Hodge. Searching kick. What a kick. That is a searing kick.
He's a star. Luke Hodge, he is a star. Well, he's a star in the making.
That ball had eyes. Across it goes to Adrian Cox, who's 25 metres out on a slight angle.
He's come, I think he came straight off the ground after that, Luke Hodge, replaced by Campbell Brown. But as a forward, as a Hawthorn forward, you'd be excited about playing footy with that kid for the next 10 years.
We could both play in front of that type of kick, Gary, and still get a kick.
He's good. I don't know if he's that good.
So Cox, what an important kick. It's close. I think it's okay. Wait for the goal umpire. No, behind. Well, we were right behind that. It didn't miss by much. Let's go down to the dock.
Yeah, Rowan Smith looks like he's just had a badly bruise on the back of the shoulder blade, and obviously picked up the nerve, which is why all the pain was there. He's made a terrific recovery, Dennis, and just giving him some painkillers. And it's not out of the realms of possibility we'll get him back tonight, or they will get him back, I should say.
Said it was his scapula, Pete. He must have had Lourdes water down there as well.
Yeah, probably a bit of holy water on it.
Here's a chance for Garlick at half-back flank. Look at that. Hit the pack beautifully. They line up to do it, the Bulldogs. Over to Harrison. Harrison's kick is a good one too. Here's the dangerous Elvey. Finding some space. He goes backwards to Harrison. A little chip over the top was a beauty, and Johnson marks inside the danger zone.
Now, did Johnson kick it in from full-back? Was he the boy who kicked it in? I've got a feeling he might have.
He might have.
He's run the length of the ground there. That is brilliant, committed football.
Yeah, that is good running, and it's almost a carbon copy of the goal that was kicked by Chris Grant. Kicked to a contest. They all crumbed it beautifully. They had 2 or 3 lining up, and then some composure going inside 50.
He's kicked 2 goals for the quarter. 19th disposal coming up. 8 marks, 4 clearances, a big build-up, and a big letdown because he's missed to the near side. It's 1 point. So the Bulldogs, 10 points in front. 79 plays 69 with just under 4.5 minutes left in the third term.
It was Nathan Brown who kicked it in, but Johnson was in the mix on the half-back flank, so he's run pretty hard anyway.
Cox punches this one to Green. Goes directly across the ground to Rawlings. Off his step to right half back, and Holland in space. He plays on, chips it up towards the wing. Needed to be precise, it wasn't. Wide of Barker, bounces out of bounds. Working overtime. Both boxes tonight. It's been that sort of game.
Feeling Daniel Bandy's completely... There he is in the ruck now. I thought he might have been off the ground because he's had no real effect, and he's been fantastic this season.
Flicks it down behind that time. Cross, was he pushed in the back? Eventually it came out to Johnson from McMahon. Brown comes back towards the middle. Bandy stepped aside. Tallis didn't. Chips to half forward. Dixon has it. Dixon spots Barlow. It goes in that direction. Won't get there quickly enough. Behind a chance for Croft. Swats it out of midair. Taken by Liberatore. Upended immediately. Charging in Dixon. Left it behind. Hargraves over the football. Picked up by Crawford. Spotted a man wide. That's Dixon. 60 metres out. Pulls it back. Thompson in from the side. Croft got there and knocked it away. Garlick. Now Liberatore. Short one. Plenty of numbers. West. McMahon into Mines. Rather untidy. Sold West into trouble. There could be recriminations as the ball goes out of bounds.
Geez, a couple of great efforts of Matthew Crofts down the other end. That spoil there.
One on the chin.
And there's a bit of a sore Robert Murphy. but he also blocked one with his foot about 10 seconds earlier.
The recovery is almost complete for Rowan Smith. He's ready to come back on. The panic coming out here again for the Bulldogs. Last time I said that they got a quick goal.
Oh.
Might do it again. Look at that. Johnson, no panic. Elvie did. Crawford. Barlow, back to Crawford. Look at that. Little kick around the corner was a beauty, and Rees took the mark.
Brad Johnson's doing enormous damage at the moment.
Green is clear and can run all the way. Lines up from 45. Big kick on goal for the Hawks. Has missed. And, well, it's cost Hawthorn a few times, Dermot, this year when they've had opportunities to kick goals and let them go begging. They've had the last 2 shots at goal.
Yeah, he's a bit of a shallow kick. He doesn't kick it with any punch or conviction there and just fades off at the end there.
Well, Murphy comes off, and Smith, who looked gone for the season, is back on. He'll take the kick.
I've got to say one thing about the Doggies. They're getting all run close to the boundary, and they're taking it the length of the field, going very, very wide. They're no longer taking the ball through the midfield, right down the corridor. And Hawthorn seem to be controlling that area when they go forward.
Hook out of the back pocket. Up towards half-back. Bandy slaps it towards the boundary line. It's close to going out. McMahon fit it back. Rees threw it across to Holland. And umpire Allen spotted that. So great to see Smith back. Ironic, he came on to replace Murphy. Both of them had crash landings. They've got to practice their landings, the Dogs, I think, but they won't be queuing up for that drill at training.
Do you say great to see him back,
Let's
Dennis?
go down to the dock.
He's going to take the kick.
The problem there, Brett Allen didn't know Jordan McMahon's name, and he couldn't call his name, so he just kept running away. In the end, he had to say, oi, 23.
So it's back with McMahon. Let's try the dock again.
Yeah, Dennis, I'm not sure how much Lord's water Gary Zimmerman will be using on the Bulldogs bench, but Robert Murphy having his jaw checked, and he's just having a bit of double vision, so Obby got a hit in the left side of his head when he ran back into that pack, and he should be all right. They've just ruled out any broken jaw troubles.
Typical Lord's water wouldn't be in Dr. Zimmerman's bag. Here's a chance for Krediuk. Up towards the centre half-forward position. Thompson's been great. Brown just thumps it long, but there's no at home. The big flood is on, and Krediuk gets back and might have injured himself as he landed there, Krediuk. No one on the mark. Have a look at this. We can get a wide shot here.
But he can't go forward, Ed, because he's got no one to kick to.
Yep, had to hold it up. In the end, he kicked it to a 2-on-1 contest. Chick couldn't quite hold the mark. Brown concedes ground, but did it well to Holland, who got a call from the bloke on the bench. And Schwabby, have a look at that.
He's talking to you, Ed.
I think he's telling us.
No, somebody, I'd say, is poking their head into the side of the coach's box there, and he wants them out of the way.
Not sure.
Our camera, I think. Yeah, I think he is. He's telling our camera, get out of the way. Anyway, Johnson kicks inside the 50. Here's a chance. Punched away. Deem, you're on the board. Tell him we've got to have it there. Inside 50 it goes, but it's Rawlings who chops it off. Crawford had to take it off his bootlaces. Did well to Rawlings. This is an important handball. Hay went back the wrong way and then concedes.
That's all right.
I heard the booze of the crowd there. For a minute I thought I was at the wrong end of the ground.
That's all right. I don't know why players don't do that more often.
10 points of difference. Bulldogs. It's Green from defensive 50.
That's why they don't.
Cox meters in the clear to Tallis with the run forward of the wing, chips down towards the 50. Clark's got it, 55 metres out, runs to the 50, pops it over the top. Can Cox hang on? Yes, he can.
Well,
Simon Cox.
You give full credit to Daniel Cross, a young Bulldog defender who was 1-on-2. He played it as well as any player could, and to get a shot at goal on the boundary
on here
is the best result.
Cox runs around, a left footer, pulls it back, misses. Not by much.
When you take it into the equation now, Jonathan Hay, cool under pressure, kicking a rush behind from 25. The kick in, and Hawthorn take it the length of the field without a touch on it. That's good play by the backman.
Alvey gets it to Bandy. Not having a good night. Can he fire up? Dying seconds of the term. At three-quarter time, the Dogs will turn for home with a 9-point advantage. Three-quarter time. Friday night football at Colonial Stadium. This has been a beauty.
Good on you there, Tony, with Mel Brown and Kay Brown. not interested at all in the conversation. She's just having a good look at Campbell. It is 9 points of difference with the Bulldogs in front, and as we get a secondary bounce, let's go to Dr. Peter Larkins.
Yeah, just interesting, Ed, that Rowan Smith and Robert Murphy both made terrific recoveries. As I said, Dr. Zimmerman probably not with the Lord's water, you're absolutely right, but probably just a bruised nerve for Smith, and as I said, a hit on the jaw for Robert Murphy.
In goes West, tackled immediately. We'll have the ball up.
Hawthorn have won only 4 of their fourth quarters out of 14. They've lost the last 6 straight, while the Dogs have won their last 5 straight.
Points to the Dogs then. Darcy slapped it down. Garlick had it, lost it. Wren on his knees. Johnson, very good in that third term, dragged down. Got a hand pass forward. Cox has been watching Johnson. Well, the next best thing, he got it to Green. This is Adrian Cox just outside the 50. Hand passes inside the 50. Now a chance for Crawford. Pulls it back across the body. It's a wayward kick out of bounds on the full in the left full forward pocket.
Well, Doggy's midfield in the third quarter was very good. There was 14 possessions to Johnson, 9 to this man Nathan Brown, and also 9 to Scotty West.
Gene Siracusa's just snuck on the ground as Libba comes off for a spell. Picked up by Hodge on centre wing. He was just trying to sneak down the ground a little bit there. So Cross in the back pocket. Up towards Croft from behind. Brown gets the thump on it. Here's Smith. Quick kick away. Will come straight back though. The mark has been taken by
through.
Hay. Thompson at centre half forward. Could be the target. Barker leads that way as well. Hay kicks it inside 50. Crawford being manhandled. He did it beautifully.
You've got a question here, and you've got to question Crawford shepherds the drop zone of the ball, and had he not been taken, he could have never got to it. Look there, he's protecting it. That's fine if you're going to go there and mark. So that's a play-on decision, and he's done well to milk that, Shane Crawford. Clever play. Garlick just a bit over-exuberant there.
Freeze Hawthorn 10, Dogs 11. So Crawford comes in to make the margin just 2 points, and well, Doggies fans will say a bit of justice there as he misses to the far side.
That's a disappointing miss. Had that been Chris Grant, we would have been all over him. That is a disappointing miss from the skipper. He only half kicked it, I reckon.
That's a couple of wayward kicks.
Look at this,
Shane Crawford.
Sorry, just to jump in there, Dennis. Vandenberg's on the mark now because Nathan Brown has touched it on his boot and played on every time, and he won't do it against Vandenberg.
Brown drives it to the outer side. Big pack at the drop. Spills wide. Murphy back in the action. That'll test the shoulder. Down he went again. Taken by Cox. Got his arms free. Green down to Johnson. Johnson tugs it around the corner. Meters in the clear is Barlow. Will he take a shot? Barlow looks towards the middle. Streaming up the ground is Clark. He'll go back now. The die is cast. I think he'll take a shot at goal, and we think back to that game a couple of weeks ago. Yes.
You'd have to kick it, one would think then.
Here's a beautiful kick normally, and having said that, you'll probably shank it now I've said that, Ed.
Barlow, a lot riding on this kick. He makes light of it. Slams it through.
Well done, Doom. You did the reverse shifty there.
Yep.
You mozzed him and then mozzed it back again.
Moz done mozzed. Well, they did find themselves in space here, and they worked pretty hard around the ball here, the Hawks. Cox was the inspiration there. He's the one who actually went below his knees to pick it up off the deck while everybody else was looking for a bit of body pressure. And he got it out and it found its way to Barlow. But a good, solid kick in the end. Good kicking action. Game's alive.
Oh, we've got a game on our hands now. Bulldogs by 2 points. Hawks get the first goal of the quarter. Chance for Garlick now for the Western Bulldogs. Onto the right boot, he kicks it up towards centre half forward. It's the 2 number 3s. Hay versus Grant. The bounce favours Grant. Here he goes. He has a chance to have a shot at the goal. He kicks to the square. Bandy against 2. Good play there by Rawlings. Gene Siracusa takes the ball to the boundary line. We'll have a throw in.
On the full, Jono.
As we have to throw in tonight's trivia question for the Herald Sun. Who played the most games in Guernsey number 1? 356 games from 1982 to 1996. Entry coupons are in every Friday's edition of the Herald Sun. Which player wore number 1 for the most amount of games? 356.
Ram knocked it down. Hodge to the opposite pocket. Hargrave right on the 50. A one-out contest. Pulls it back across the body. Missed by the man in front, Graham. Recovered pretty well. A hand pass comes out of the 50. Slick hands again from Johnson. Vandenberg back to the run of Johnson. Geez, been a good player. Goes down towards half-forward. Holland surely a free kick. Nothing doing. Wide of the pack. A chance now for Barlow. Steps around a would-be tackler. Goes long down towards full forward. Tailor-made for Thompson. In fact, he was taken out of the contest. No free kick. Cox has got it anyway. There is justice in footy. He's got his first.
Nathan Thompson still asking the question of umpire Matthew James, and I reckon he's got a fair case to answer as well. Let's have a look at this.
I think he's calling the hit on the face or the hit on the body while Croft never looked at the ball.
No, I mean, that's a free kick. Has been all year. Didn't have his eyes on the footy. Didn't allow him a run at the mark. But anyway, it ended up in a goal, so it wasn't too bad. But had it not, then there would have been some fair debate going on out there.
The Hawks back in front by 4 points. Their last lead was at the 32nd mark of the third term. Oh, we've got a big one now. Darcy versus Wren. Line ball decision. West tries to hack it out of the centre, has a second go. 2 disposals in a row. This one is far more effective. Deep into the forward zone. Bandy comes out, takes a screamer.
Well, he hasn't got free all night, and he gets over this one. It was a clever kick by Westy. He's pulled it across his body. 4th mark for him for the evening, and that is the best of them. Took 16 last week.
Daniel Bandy, 27 goals for the season. His first score of the night is a goal, and the Bulldogs are back in front by 2 points.
The bloke who looms as the most dangerous player on the ground now is Luke Darcy. He's been the best takeaway ruckman in the league so far, and he hasn't had one out of the centre square tonight. And if he can start doing it now, they're going to win this, the Doggies, because you give those forwards some supply. And Chris Grant's lurking down there as well. Bandy can come over the top.
He started so very well, Luke Darcy. He's been a little bit quiet the last quarter and a bit.
Everybody riding it out. 16 marks last week for Bandy, 13 against the Tigers round 10. His best effort for Fremantle, 12 against Brisbane back in the year 2000. Brown out of the middle, seesawing affair. Dogs lead it by 2. Johnson yet again feeds it out. Taken away by Chick. Awkward looking kick, wanders out towards the wing. Robbins, the premature elevation, taken there by Green, down towards half forward. Barlow left half forward, looks inside the 50. Thompson the target. Croft outmaneuvered him. The veteran lays it off. Brown swings it wide towards left half back. Meters in the clear. If it will stay in for Jan Siracusa. He kept it in, or did he? Oh, where that one too. The boundary umpire said it was out of bounds. That was certainly line ball, but even had he kept it in, he certainly had a problem.
Interesting match fact there. Hawthorn have lost their previous 6 final quarters. Bulldogs have won their last 5.
Garlick camped over the ball, dragged off it. Vandenberg with strength, taking a couple of revolutions. Clark did well, knocked it to Wren. Awkward kick inside the 50. Smith over the ball. Credior, a hand pass out only as far as Barlow to Holland, who stops a goal. His first.
Well, Gary, the undoubted thing here is that Hawthorn are actually running better than the Bulldogs in the midfield at the moment. The Doggies are getting better takeaway out of the middle through the agency of Scotty West. But the Hawks and these blokes, Stevie Green and little Timmy Clark, they are running right through the middle now, and they're running the Dogs off their legs. It's still going to be left to West and Johnson to pull them out of it here.
So Holland gets his first goal. Have a look at this. Beautiful snap around the body. And the Hawks go back in front by 4 points. The lead changing for the 4th time in this final quarter. Still plenty of time. 14.25 minutes left in the centre of the ground. Wren dives in on top of it. We'll have another bounce. Centre clearances so far this quarter. Dogs 3, Hawks yet to have one. But it's 3 goals to 1 in the term to the Hawks.
A move with Chris Grant.
Yeah. Inside 50s, 6-2 Hawthorn's way. The Bulldogs go forward. Nathan Brown needs to get amongst it. He gets the ball. He's grabbed. Umpire calls play on. Diving on top was Grant. Will have a bounce pretty much on centre wing.
It is Green and Clark. You're right, the young fellows, Dermot. Stephen Green had a terrific third quarter coming off the bench where he started. He took 6 marks. He had about 8 or 9 possessions. And his run might just be invaluable in this last quarter.
Jim, in fact, it was the young fella there in McMahon who got the ball going. Here's a chance now. Oh, free kick. No, umpire paid the mark to Graham.
That's a bit of consistency there with Croft doing, well, probably less conspicuous than that at the other end.
Green to Rawlings. Long kick. Tallis underneath it. Good play by Murphy, but Tallis has still got the run of the ball. Crashes through the tackle. Little kick is a beauty, just at 15.
Clark's run on. He's on his own.
He's not getting that much of it, Timmy Clark, but he is running them off their legs, making him chase. And the thing is, Hargraves is chasing Timmy Clark, and Hargraves is an attacking back flanker who gives the doggy their run, and he can't do it now.
Tallis's kick was a shocker to the boundary line, and Thompson does a bit of a richo. Look at this one, boys. What's your decision?
Yeah, well, Kingsley Hunter hasn't put his hands up to mark it. You'd let that one go, but they let it go at the other end.
An effective disposal. Boundary throw in. Working in front. Darcy was taken high. Wrong end of the ground for the Dogs, though, at the moment. I'd be inclined to get Dimatina out there. His run and hard work might be handy. Darcy across the ground. Murphy. Nice evasion. Short to midfield. Needed to be precise, and it was. Jan Siracusa down towards half forward. Bounces off the chest of Bandy, who is taken high. Bit lucky.
Gee, could have been a big turnover. Hawthorn had numbers back, so credit the Bandy. Followed on.
Hawks by 4 points.
Good
Johnson punches the ball in deep. Going to get timely fist in there was Hodge. Picked up by Clark. Wren. Well, in about 5 minds. Fourth wasn't bad, though. He went back to Chick. Out of defence, Johnson. Close to the boundary line. Cox. Interesting. Worked it around the boundary. Holland. Well, less finesse. Got it out of bounds. Good result for the Hawks. Just under 12 minutes till full time. It's not easy for anyone. McGuinness on. Hunter comes off the ground. Boundary throw in down towards right half forward for the Western Bulldogs. They can't afford to drop this game. Wren, clean possession. Kicks his side down towards half forward. Barlow tracks Harrison. 1-out contest. Harrison carried the ball like a loaf of bread. Kicked it about 15 metres. It bounces up towards the wing. Charging in down there. Fisted forward by Crawford. Down goes Barlow. Worked it back the wrong way. Taken by Cox. Cox punches the ball in. Too deep. Out of bounds on the full.
Well, you'll be certainly used to it if you're a Hawthorn or a Bulldog. Of course, the Bulldogs drawing last week with Essendon. Hawks' last 3 games in a row have been decided by 10 points or less. They've won 2 and lost 1. The margin is 4 points. Hawthorn in front. Plenty of time. 11 minutes and 20 seconds, as you can see, and ticking. Chris Grant at the fence of 50.
They really struggled, the Bulldogs, when they've had their natural game taken away from them. And that is...
Bad bounce for Harrison. He slips over. This could be punishment time. The skipper runs in to the open goal and kicks his second and celebrates.
Well, I was just about to say they struggle when they have their natural game taken away, where they can get players free and spot them up without too much pressure. Since about halfway through the second quarter, the Hawks have been able to close them down, make them accountable, and manufacture or orchestrate one-on-one contests, and mistakes like this happen as a result. Early on in the piece, they had free players in their back half that they could just pick off at will.
So one skipper's kick bounces the wrong way, and the Hawthorn skipper Crawford makes Chris Grant pay. So Hawks now by 10 points. Johnson forward again. Smith. Barlow grabs him. It comes out again. Here's a chance for Brown. Beautiful handle over the top. Crawford 2 in a minute. Left foot's there. He kicks the goal. Punches the air. And the Hawks lead by 16 points.
Well, they are just running them off their legs now, the Hawks. It's the young brigade, Gary, you talked about it a second ago. You find those blokes. Campbell Brown came out and approached the ball, but there's 3 Hawk forwards. Chris Barlow, Ben Dixon and Barker.
Here's the first one, boys.
Yep, that's the first one he gets on the end of. But those three forwards I talked about, and we see Crawford getting on the end for the second one there in a minute or so. Those three mid-sized Hawk forwards, one of them had to stand up. And in this last quarter, Chris Barlow has met the ball on 6 occasions, had 3 or 4 possessions himself, and held it inside.
Margin 16 points. Darcy goes up, knocks it down. Cox hand passes back to Vandenberg. Very high kick, floats down towards half forward, showing the judgment. Smith takes the mark. Well, now a real test for the Dogs. Out wide, Hunter on the wing. Still plenty of time.
They've stopped running, Dennis. See, they're going for static kicks here, whereas they used to run from behind with the likes of Hargraves and Prediuk and those blokes coming off the back flank. They're going sideways and looking for kicks.
Murphy looking for Brown. Knocked away down there by Chick. Wren cast in the role of a rover, went back to Chick through the legs of Rawlings. Now Vandenberg. Did nicely. This is Hay, and the Hawks meeting every challenge. They fell off the pace early in the second term. But gee, they've stuck at it. Here's Graham. Chips to the opposite pocket. Rawlings. Hodges on for a short one. Instead he goes to Chick, short of half back. He can come to Hay. They're weaving their magic at the moment, mesmerising the Dogs.
The Dogs are the #1 side in the competition for uncontested marks. Hawthorn have absolutely smashed them in this game.
Now, this is not running down the clock. This is just making sure the doggies come to them, because the Bulldogs are sitting back behind them with numbers. It's stupid. It is folly to kick to the doggies if that's where they've got the numbers.
Rawlings, only as far as West. Johnson, who's been wonderful, tracks it across the boundary line. It will be tossed in. 102 plays 86 inside the last 10 minutes. Top 5, as you can see, with marks. Mark Graham, as the name would imply.
Throw in on the outer side. Bandy gets the tap. Vandenberg, the volley. Johnson. Centre the ground. Adrian Cox grabs it and runs. Tucks it under the arm. Around the body with the left foot kick inside 50. Thompson comes out to meet it. The Bulldogs have the numbers.
Careful nudge, wasn't it? Well done by Croft. Just good team play there.
Just put him under the ball.
Yep.
Nathan Brown inside to Elvey.
No run, no run. It's all static for the Dogs.
Flat-footed football. Brown now along the boundary line. Beautiful kick to Hunter at half-forward flank.
He would have taken off if it hadn't been Daniel Chick chasing him then.
Hunter thumps it long. Needs Darcy. Out he comes. Graham backs himself. In fact, Rawlings gets it on the shin. Here's a chance now for Gian Siracusa. He sets himself up to kick the goal. He steadies and hits the post. 1 goal, 2 to Daniel Gian Siracusa.
I reckon 15 points down. I reckon this time last week against Essendon, the Bombers, the Bulldogs were down by about 15 or 16 points and still managed to come home with a wet sail. So plenty of time left.
Thompson on the bench, and Barker comes on. They might even be saving Thompson for a 5-minute run on the ball.
Barlow to Rawlings. Crowd getting a little restless. Dog supporters. Opposite pocket, Graham.
Good play.
Chick. It is. Chick off his step to half forward. Sliding in Holland.
Good pace from Nick Holland. He's played as well as he's played all year. He's moved really well.
Now they can't blaze away here. The doggies have got numbers back there, and they blaze away.
Chick's kick in. Getting a fist on it. The Dogs. Brown snaps, and that could just about do it. Wow. His second.
Well, I was going to find out exactly who it was that gave the contest, because they were outnumbered, the Hawthorn forwards, and Kay Brown there, very excited, as you would be. But while Campbell was the man who put it through, I'll just have a look here, and it was Simon Cox, I think, that was able to stand up and at least force a contest that brought the ball to ground, and he's been working on that move for a while, the old Mats Villander.
So a magnificent snap goal by Campbell Brown. And it's the Hawks by 21 points. They've kicked the last 4. It's been 6 goals to 1 in the final term. Vandenberg gets it out to Chick. Chick runs to 55, back to Vandenberg. This to nail it. Wow. Closed. Game over. Second goal to Vandenberg. Hawks by 27 points.
There is one thing you can't replace in league football, and look, everyone who takes the field has some sort of limitation. Those two boys are not the perfect footballers, but what they have is big V8 motors. Yep. They are raw grunt, and they're probably, along with Crawford, the 3 quickest blokes in the club, and they've been in the top 10 in the league for pure on-pace power, and they just burnt off poor old little Libber, who's never going to reel them in.
Well, Doom, we always read about Hawthorn being a super fit side. The names that you hear are Holland, you hear Crawford, you hear Vandenberg, you hear Chick. They've all kicked goals this quarter in the last quarter when it's been on the line.
What an amazing game. Bounce back in the middle. Wren cleverly. Vandenberg out of the middle yet again. It's all one-way traffic. Going back, Smith claims the mark. Well, until 10 minutes ago, I've got to be honest, I would have mortgaged the house on the Dogs. Now I've joined the ranks of the homeless. Ball out there at right half back.
Stop running, though, Dennis. They stopped running.
Johnson just passed me that piece of cardboard to sleep under. The ball goes towards the outer side, and the mark is taken out there by young McGuinness. He plays on. Just terrific by the Hawks. Crawford, the man who in many respects fired them up.
I just think when they've closed them down and they haven't allowed them a free mark, uncontested mark, they've really battled.
Kick towards the outer side. Hodge, he's got it covered. They're running on. Hodge around the outer side. Probing kick, a beauty.
Well, he stood up last quarter, Chris Barlow.
Barlow's taken this mark after Harrison got under the flight of the footy. He's marked about 35 metres out, and this is Hawthorn's best final quarter of the season. Not so much just in the score, but the way they've gone about it. It's been clinical.
5 marks in the last quarter to Chris Barlow. 7 kicks, 7 disposals. He's been the prime forward for them. He has been fantastic. Brett Johnson out of the middle and the running brigade in support.
Well, the way it's going, you would mortgage the house.
You've lost your car.
I'm out of houses. In fact, after one, I was gone.
I got a scooter you can borrow to get home as well, Dennis.
7 goals to 1, though. Hawthorn in the final term.
Yes, and they have been ordinary in last quarter, so that is a good sign for the Hawks in the run home to the finals.
And it is a big run home now because they've won their last 3, including tonight. Gene Siracusa.
They just looked flat after that. I reckon that took a whole lot out of them last week. They'd come from behind draw against the Bombers. That is the Doggies.
So Bandy now. As Dermot said, there has not been much run for the Bulldogs in the last 20 minutes or so of this game. Here's a chance now for Darcy, who's been quiet probably since half-time.
Yep.
But he kicks a beautiful goal. His second.
He has been, and at various stages it threatened. He really threatened to again stamp his mark on it. So credit to Sean Wren, who's battled on manfully and stuck at it. And
he's been fantastic, Wren.
Yeah,
I don't reckon he's just been good. I reckon this is just about his best game at the club.
And, well, that's a big call. Luke Darcy there just puts one through. So that is a fair effort for Sean Wren to be able to take on those 2 big fellas and more than break even.
Hawthorn leader by 22 points. They started the 9th in 10th place with a record of 7-7. Now they're moving a 3 straight. The chance of moving into the 8. As Kingsley Hunter got it from Johnson, goes up wide to Harrison. Garlick, the defensive side of the wing. No margin for error. Well, it was a good kick. Johnson has it. Has shown flashes of brilliance tonight. Kicks down towards the attacking 50. Grant. Hay right there with him. Clever. Hodge along the ground. Gains about 10 metres. Out of bounds. It'll be tossed in. Outer side. We're down to 4:30 remaining in this one.
And the stats on Sean Wren, 12 possessions, 5 clearances, which is a brilliant effort against the #1 clearing ruckman in the league, Darcy. And he's had 16 hit-outs, but he's mixed it up against Darcy. He hasn't come at him from the same angle on every bounce down, giving him something to think about.
Hodge came over the top, close to the boundary line, hooked back by Alvey. It runs towards full forward. A look of determination on the face of Mark Graham to Hay. And they'll work it out yet again. They've combined very well back there. Rawling swings it wide. How will it bounce? Awkwardly for Clark. Leading back in the race is Murphy. Little shimmy. close to the boundary line, stopped in. Vandenberg never stops, runs onto it, feeds it back towards the middle. A wave, a brown and gold wave coming down the ground as Clark gave it to Crawford, goes to the pocket, and the mark is taken by Holland. He looks back towards the middle, reward young Clark and go to him. No, he decides not to. And eventually Smith gets across to close it down.
Well, you mentioned young Clark there, Dennis, and he hasn't touched the ball, but he has run 150 metres at breakneck speed. He just breaks guys' hearts by how he can get into position and run hard.
Sharp angle. Holland deserving a goal. He's played a wonderful game tonight, but puts this one out of bounds in the full in the opposite pocket.
Well, the Doggies need to kick 4 goals in 3.5 minutes. A fantastic coming back against the Bombers last week. That's a big assignment, and they won't do it like that. Croft. West in there, hard at the ball as always. But it's been a huge night for the Hawks, though, no doubt about it. Doc Larkins.
Richie Vandenberg, what a great quarter he's had this last quarter, Ed. He's just come up with cramp. We just mentioned how he's been running so well tonight and actually made that contest to get Nick Holland a shot on goal. He'll be right. They're just going to give him some stretching and massage.
Wren thumps it inside.
8 possessions for Vandenberg this last quarter.
On defensive 50, kicks out, looking for Harrison, runs back, did it well. Pinched though at the last moment by Cox, over the top to Hay. Harrison's hurt himself in trying to take that mark. Back to Cox with the left foot along the boundary line. There's a beautiful kick towards Barker. Crediuk in game 150, takes it to the line for a throw-in.
There's a bit of a hunger back about the Hawks, and Jonathan Hay probably encapsulates that the way he's played tonight. A lot harder running, his athletic ability's back on show.
The Hawkers by 22 points. Give that one to Bandy. Hunter, Crediuk. Johnson. No, Smith. It is Johnson, in fact. Gets the handball going to Harrison. Brushed the trainers. Running into trouble was Hargrave. Out the back it goes. Here's another chance for Johnson. Has been great tonight for the Bulldogs. Inside 50 goes the kick. Play on, says the umpire. You heard him. Grant goes to ground. Tallis wrapped up. Umpire will bounce. 35 metres out from the Bulldogs' goal with under 2 minutes left in the game. So the Hawks by 22 points.
Full credit to the coaching staff of Hawthorn. You just get the feeling they've taken the points tonight.
Yeah, Terry Wallace came out very well early, didn't he? But as he had to, he revealed his hand, and Hawthorn were able to coach thereafter to it, Dennis.
Yes, they made the necessary adjustments. John Siracusa close to the boundary line, running out of space. Hargraves smothered off the boot. It ricochets across to this man, Chick. Breaks away to Clark. Chick is storming past. Any one of a couple could take that football. Barlow running the legs. He goes down towards half forward. Another penetrating kick turns the defence around. Croft stopped it well enough to Murphy. Murphy deep in his own defensive area. Awkward one. In fact, it came across to Murphy. Who was that? Smith who got it out. Yes. Opportunity for Barker. Pops it back inside the 50, and that's a wonderful finish. Got it to Holland. Maybe this time he can get the goal.
Well, you're right. The coaching's had a big impact on this, and I think any side who plays against the Western Bulldogs, you're aware of their skill and their propensity to go short and use the footy. Number 1 uncontested mark team in the competition. I think it's critical when you play the Bulldogs that you man them up and don't allow them free players.
10 marks for this man. Going at his second goal. Clock inside the last minute. And Hawthorn starting to flex some muscle in this competition.
The second one he's hooked savagely to the left.
Well, he's entitled to be a bit tired. Across the line it goes. 116 plays 93. And their running players, Johnson, Crawford in this final term, just terrific. So the margin 23 points.
Bulldogs short. West inside 30 seconds. It's going to be a memorable win for Hawthorn tonight. 3 on the trot, and they're going to be back in town. Brad Johnson, his 31st possession, 10 marks for the night. Certainly has had a big night out, but not big enough.
The other thing is that Hawthorn's other wins, Ed, were just struggling wins. You know, they didn't really. It wasn't a Hawthorn of old, but tonight it looks pretty promising.
Yeah, tonight was one with authority. And Hawthorn win by 23 points to keep their finals hopes well and truly alive. Kay and Mel Brown very happy, so they should be. They're young.
In 1998, Des Headland, Adam Ramanauskas and Brendan Favola entered The Draft.
Am I nervous? Nah, not really.
This compelling documentary follows the 17-year-olds on the beginning of their journey as elite footballers.
I don't think anybody really understands what mentally these players go through.
And illustrates how the ultimate success of the journey lies not with them, but in the hands of coaches and talent scouts.
We're the men that are charged with